No.
Please
come.
Oh, please don't.
Take it off.
I mean,
it's off now.
Look, Culture, if you're mad at me and I have to cheer you up, if I have to do a Tom Cruise, do I have to do do I have to get all coconut buttered up and like run around with a football?
I've never been in a better mood.
Okay, I'm just saying because you don't seem like you're cheerful. Maybe it's because, but if I have to take my shirt off in oil, why in the hell is the counter going on this freaking live stream?
I've been streaming.
Who hit the live? Did someone hit the live button?
Wow.
Are we live?
I think so.
Shit.
Welcome everyone to the show. That's right, Mikey's going to take his shirt off, and this is Midnight's Edge. After
it's
that.
happened.
It's happening.
And you didn't get to see it.
All at once, everywhere, whatever the name of that movie is. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, where you is. Welcome to the show. That's right, Jordy. It is show time. Hope you got your popcorn ready. Pops in your mouth.
I think I have been streaming for at least 6 hours today.
Then what do you want? Do you need a nap?
No, I'm gonna need dinner pretty soon. You wanna bring over dinner?
Ooh.
You can have the other one of my crappy.
It did not look good.
Sandwiches.
No, thank you. No, it did not look like
horrible.
That was
It's a
food.
dead parrot. That's what it looked like.
It is no longer living, sir. It has ceased to live. Joining us today, I think is this the first time you're on MEAD 70s Rock Fan, or no? This can't be the first time.
I've been on briefly once before. It was the first time I started the show, so thank you for having me.
I'd say, you popped on at least once or twice before. Welcome
once
to
or
the show.
twice. Yeah.
Glad to have you.
I normally am working, so this is today I'm not. So thank you for letting me.
Yes, indeed. Usually you're just kind of modding for us if you can, but it's always nice to have you on.
Well, I
we need the balls with the DVDs and the figurines. So, also joining us, he's now like more of a regular than a special guest, Mr. Nick Weiser. Almost every Tuesday he joins us, and some Wednesday or Thursdays for that matter too.
Yeah, and now I'll hopefully be joining for some more in the future now. So the future's looking good. Yeah, I'm doing good, Tom. I'm glad to be part of the MEAD after dark. Feels good. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, the reason Nick is regular now is he's getting more fiber.
Love it. At least he's pooping. And that, of course, that voice you must know. It is the one, the only Culture Casino.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do Mike.
No.
No. Yeah. Hi, I'm here. Tom and I had fun. I'm kind of upset at Tom because of he doesn't like Tom Cruise. I don't understand that. Very upset.
Mad.
This is true.
You're not totally wrong on that. It's kind of similar. I just hit it. I'm like, these two are arguing. I'm like, fuck it.
Who was arguing?
Speaking of these two, my co-pilot, as always, the one, the only Mexican Iron Man.
Arriba, andale. And I just want to say tonight is a Mexican Iron Man was right moment. As last week I called it. I said 100 to 150 million. I was ridiculed. I was not supported. I was laughed at.
Actually, I said that's probably what it'll be.
I thought you
I'm
were
retconning the story, Tom. I know that's not true.
Okay, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I'm doing a Kathleen Kennedy right now. I'm actually revising history. No one said that. Actually, that's not.
We can no longer give George Lucas any shit for retconning any history whatsoever anymore.
Nope.
Never again. After those articles, but
I've had since my last MEAD appearance, I am on fire with issues related to things in pop culture. I am heated, and I get the rent meter ready, Tom.
That's right. Mike is in heat.
I am. Wait, what? No, wait, what? Well, that may or may not be.
That's
true.
what you said.
There's a lovely Sherry. Hi.
Yes, indeed. We have a lovely audience with us, but we also have a lovely panel member. I hope she's back by now. Is saving her for last, not just because she's awesome, but because she was just a tad busy. So I think she's back. I just seen her unmute. Welcome, Six. How you doing?
Yeah, now, and I'm also double unmuted, so now you can hear me. I've
You're
been talking
double
for 5
muted.
minutes. Yeah. I'm doing all right. I just woke up.
Well, we're still
Morning.
glad to have you here. Sorry you
Good
didn't get
morning.
much sleep.
She's on double secret mutation.
How did you get that amazing voice that you have? I've always wanted to ask you that.
I smoked for a lot of years.
I mean, her parents made it. I don't know what else you want her to say.
That's not a smoking girl's voice.
I
you
I
really
dated a
used to
girl that
smoke?
was a smoker, and she talked
Yeah,
to
I
me
used
like,
to smoke.
really?
Yeah, I'm actually. I
Cigarettes.
almost don't believe
yeah, I
you.
figured
You
as
don't sound like someone who.
Well, the
Smoke
choices were
cigarettes.
crack or cigarettes, and I know because I know you don't smoke weed. So
Yeah, I know. I'm such a goody-goody. I barely even speed in my car, so I'm quite the angel.
yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know about that. That's debatable. I think maybe not.
Let me tell you something. When Revenge of the Sith came out, I had a person I know who downloaded the movie illegally. This was like within the first 2 weeks that it came out. They downloaded it illegally and put it on a disc for me. I took that disc and I went home and I closed my blinds and I sat on the edge of my couch and I watched it because I was so afraid that somehow the police were going to find out or that I was going to somehow get in trouble, that they were going to trace it.
Wow.
That's all right.
how
I understand.
Yeah.
They're
I was
gonna get around to you,
paranoid.
Six. They will
That's
get
probably-
round to you eventually.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, they'll be knocking on your door in like 3 years. Did you watch a black market copy of Revenge of
Yeah.
the Sith in 2005?
It was pretty cool because there at the end it like replayed the last 20 minutes of it and then it had these numbers across the top. I don't know, it was kind of weird, but I watched that thing 100 times.
Well, what's funny is I remember that movie actually leaked in a fairly pristine copy online before the movie even came out. Most people didn't realize it right away.
Yeah, it's
But,
a really good copy, but
It was a really
just,
good copy, yeah.
It has those numbers.
Yeah, I think it had the editing. So it coming from somewhere in the editing side of
Yeah.
things. But
Yeah.
we got Knight of Snoke in the house. Speaking of our audience, he sends in a buck and has a question. Do we know yet why some of the Vulture scenes got removed from Morbius? I think the director said Sony forced him to. From what I'm told, Morbius was a mess, and Vulture showing up would have helped save it. Yeah, but it would have attached it even more to Spider-Man. And I've heard that the digital version that's out there doesn't even have the ending credits scene in it, from what I heard. So I think they're trying to distance themselves from Spider-Man in any way. We'll see. As far as the editing goes, I think they just knew they had a mess on their hands. What do you guys say?
Are they distancing themselves from Spider-Man, or is it the other way around?
Yeah, well, however you want to look at it. I mean,
Wow.
I'll let Coach go first.
Morbius is kind of a disaster for a film that I was actually genuinely interested in initially. Everything that essentially, was going to be good about it got pulled out of it. So I mean,
Knight's right here probably in that respect, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how they fix it. I don't know how they move forward with the, everything else they were going to try to do on their side of the equation. So I guess we'll have to see what Sony does. But
I haven't seen it yet.
All right. Well,
I pre-ordered it though.
You pre-ordered it. May the force be with you.
Yeah, I did too, because Walmart
Seriously.
had some special deal on it. So yeah.
Well, what I think is, because if you remember now, let's think back to pre-China virus days. Spider-Man No Way Home was originally supposed to come out in July 2021. I think Morbius was around that same time frame. They were supposed to be, I guess, neck and neck with each other. So maybe the scenes that had the Vulture were more connected to the movies, so they took them out because of that. Maybe I could be wrong here. This is just could be a far shot even. And they're like, well, now that No Way Home, obviously. Oh, hold on. No Way Home was July, then became Christmas, because I remember it became Christmas, and Morbius is 2020. I remember now. Morbius was originally come out a whole year before No Way Home. So maybe they thought, okay, people are going to see this first, and there's going to be some scenes that connect to this. Well, then obviously No Way Home ultimately ended up coming out first. So I think that's what happened. There must have been a lot more connective tissue with some of the scenes. And then they're like, oh, crap, this movie came out first. And, well, everything doesn't make sense now because of the whole timeline. So
That could be, but I think it was more of they knew they had a stinker on their hands.
and maybe they did. Maybe they did. That's just what I think is a possibility.
And Sony didn't want to take it out. I think it was Disney pressuring them. And I think that end credit scene was probably a compromise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even then, that's a weird scene. You watch that scene, and it's freaking weird. You're like, nothing about the scene makes sense, especially from how the situation happens. But I won't go into it, because you guys haven't seen it. But that'll be a conversation for another day.
I think most people already know the scene. I don't know if Culture or anybody else has anything to add to this, but yeah, we'll see if he shows up in the Sinister Six movie or not.
That's the other thing, right? I mean, haven't they kind of like pulled so much focus off of the Sinister Six at this point because they made such a poor film?
I think it's one of those cursed projects that's never going to happen.
Oh, it's never going to happen.
You know what I mean? Like every time they've tried to do it, it just
they have
leads
a good
nowhere.
writer attached originally. Drew Goddard, I remember. He was the guy who was involved with, I think, a few of the Daredevil season 1 episodes. And obviously, fantastic season. So obviously, you had a talent on your hands, but it's also Sony. So because let's not forget, like Sony still fucks up on a lot of things, and we're at the peak of the time where their meddling was at an all-time high with things. And that was also the same timeline where they were entertaining an Aunt May movie, and they were in denial of it. And then paperwork came out showing that they were talking about it. So. Who knows? I
believe that was in the Sony leak.
It was. The Aunt May
was
movie, in the Sony leak. I remember because they're like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. And then the leaks came out, and it was true. I was like, wow.
Amy Pascal for you. And I think that's what she was trying to reestablish with Spider-Verse. Because that's why I think Aunt May is like a bat cave and all this shit. Even though, it was built by Peter or whatever, supposedly. But... like, I think they were kind of setting that whole thing up, and then that whole, like, kind of background with her and Dr. Octopus and shit. Like, yeah, I think they were trying to reinstate the whole Aunt May spy thing.
It
was supposed to jump off the whole Amazing Spider-Man thing with, Peter's parents supposedly having some, she's supposed to be some spy. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Nah, and it's just, once again, it's just like they want to expand on these characters who I guess you could say don't have much of a backstory, and that's fine. Not every character needs to be fully fleshed out. Some characters should just stay as supporting characters. Not everyone needs to have a full-fledged arc. And it seems like we're trying to do that for every single character under the sun. Like, soon before you know it, they're going to have like the guy who sold pizza to Aunt May as the guy who's guy. Right. He's gonna have a prequel. He's gonna have a prequel on how he got the job and what led to him meeting Aunt May that delivered him to the prequel. And they're gonna show you the movie and how he got to Aunt May's house.
It could be, Nick, that you had ordered the pizza, but he went to her first. So it's really your fault.
I want a movie of the Rent guy. Rent?
Are they working towards some kind of grouping of these villains eventually? I mean,
that's what we were just talking about, is the possibilities of a Fantastic Six. I almost just called them Sinister Six.
The Fantastic Six.
The Sinister Six, as they've been trying to. And I said, I think it's just mainly like a cursed project. And yeah.
And what I've been wondering is whether or not these are all in which universe are they in? Are they in our actual reality or in a multiple parallel
70s.
universe?
I think everything's still in Earth 616.
70s.
Okay.
To answer about Morbius, the answer is Morbius in continuity with the MCU? Yes, it's not.
Yes, it's not. Okay. Because I can't figure it out.
Nick's exactly right. It is, but it isn't. It's in what's called the Venomverse. So whichever universe Venom came from when he popped into No Way Home at the end, that's where all this shit's taking place. Some people think it might be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universe. Some people think it might even be Tobey's universe. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and I don't think there was enough at the end of Venom Carnage to tell us which Spider-Man it was.
No, they don't.
They didn't tell us which one. So,
and they did it. Somebody explained to me, I guess, in the comics that the way the symbiotes work. Because I'm like, that doesn't work, because how would he know who Spider-Man is unless you brought in the Spider-Man 3 version of Venom, right? And somebody's like, all the symbiotes communicate through each other through all the dimensions. That's why. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it would have been really cool to still have a scene, because you didn't even have to get Topher Grace. All you got to do is a CGI black suit Spider-Man from Venom from Spider-Man 3, and just have Tom Hardy walk around the corner and his Venom bite his head off and say he tasted funny. I think everybody would have cheered if they had done that. And then he would have known everything he needed to know, I think. This says, any thoughts on Joe Quesada leaving Marvel? I heard something about this. I haven't had a chance to check into it, though. Go ahead, Culture.
Leaving is an incorrect word, and Pop Culture Minefield, Geary over there, is going to talk about this tomorrow.
With a J?
Say again?
Gary with a J.
Yeah, Geary with a J. Yeah. He's gonna be talking about this tomorrow, but there is no leaving. Leaving is not the adjective. He was forced out.
I was just gonna say forced out, more likely.
Yeah, he was shunted, booted, golden parachuted. We could probably work on some other adjectives, but there was no leaving involved in this. And you know what? It's about time, to be honest with you. He wasn't exactly headed the right direction, but nothing in Marvel's headed the right direction right now. So, and he'd already lost,
is he the scapegoat for the sales, though? Is that what's going
on? Joe Quesada dates all the way back to the early 2000s. He has some issues. Yeah. But the real the biggest names who were responsible, he's not the main. No, he's had his faults, but he's not the main. The real worst doers were Sana Amanat, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and Axel Alonso.
Oh, I know that, but he's also the captain of the ship, is my point. So.
Yeah, I mean, and Alonso replaced him, in his, like, whatever the executive editor or some shit position he was before. I mean, but this has been a long time coming, and actually they're going to shake a lot of stuff out of that tree. I think the people that we don't like additionally will float out of there as well.
We'll see.
I have a strong sense that some of these folks are gonna, whether they move on voluntarily or they just don't get a renewed contract, I think you're gonna start to see some shifting there too.
Culture.
Whether or not that
I hope you're right. I seriously hope you're right. It's for the bear, because if so, we're at the hug dicks.
You've got, yeah, exactly. You've got a problem now in that, DC's literally a fishnet. I mean, stuff is constantly just caught up in it, and none of it's
definitely
good.
Wearing fishnet stockings. That's
well, that too. Look, did you see the thing for the stupid, new whatever show that's going to make everybody rich? Gotham Knights or some shit.
Oh, I heard a little dead on arrival.
I mean, I may actually start doing content on that, because I feel like I need a new house. And I think that possibly could
dude, not one of them was wearing their suits in it. I'm like, it's gonna be one of those things. We're embarrassed about the suits.
And it's Agenda, the television show.
Feelings in hallways.
Feelings in hallways.
Sitting at tables.
Identity is all.
My truth. Oh, it.
And
it's gonna come.
That brings me full circle to say that I think is the most difficult thing that Thor, the new Thor film is going to suffer from. I think it's going to be the most problematic for people is its identity. It's an identity thing. And
sadly, Love and Thunder is going to look amazing compared to this show. All of these writers for all of these companies, they don't know who they are, and they try to, introspect, through these characters, and they suck at it. And at the end of the day, they don't know who this character is, and they don't know who they are still. And you've now destroyed a character because you were trying to get them to counsel you through your identity crisis.
The only identity that does not seem to matter in Thor is Thor. Every
Dude.
other identity
Yeah.
matters, but
probably
not
true.
Thor.
So which one will be less shitty, Love and Thunder or this Gotham Knights show?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
There is
Yes.
no less. I mean,
C.
you know,
All of the above.
yeah, I think I agree with Mike. I mean, you know, if somebody gives you a shit sandwich, it's still a shit sandwich.
Is Tessa
kinda like that
Thompson in
Paul's
Gotham Knights?
No,
Oh, then that'll be less shitty then.
I don't know.
I
Look,
mean, Gotham Knights will be 1 out of 10. Thor will be 1.1 out of 10.
I don't even know. But here's the weird thing. I originally, way back 1,000 years ago, in the first performance I saw her in, thought Tessa Thompson was okay. But everything that has been out there since that, she is the same person with the same 4 base resting bitch face expressions that she has in every single thing. She's not any different. She has, you know, dislikable smirk. She has I'm bored at dislikable smirk. She has I don't feel good unlikable smirk. And she has I'm amused dislikable smirk. That's what she is. Those are her default resting bitch faces.
Well, I do know her introduction to Westworld almost single-handedly killed the show. That and the terrible writing in season 2. But
oh, she was in Westworld? I never watched it
she was
this
brought
day,
into that,
so...
wasn't she? I've tried to forget it ever since after season 2 was ruined, but...
Well, and see, that's the weirdest thing, right? Because, you know, from that point, right, the end of season 1, when we break into season 2 of Westworld, both she and Evan Rachel Wood are terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know what happened. You know, and I think Evan Rachel Wood has a future issue with the legal system.
Evan Rachel gave me wood.
Yeah, if it is true that she did fake the FBI thing that she fronted to everybody, to go after Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of weird about it. So then again, like, I mean, that's one where, and it has nothing to do with his persona per se. It just, I mean, she's not the only one who said things about him too. That's the thing. Unlike Johnny, right? Like, that's a totally, like, the only person we got saying anything about Johnny is fucking Amber. Like, Marilyn has had a few other kind of questionable things, but I don't want to.
Marilyn Manson's a weird son of a fuck. Trust me, I know friends who are security guards who worked with them, but some of them told me they don't even think he has the balls to even touch a girl.
I will say, well, there's also the situation where there's some women who, you know, will think they're into weird stuff, and then as soon as they get themselves into that situation, they try to cry something else. So, but
they like the idea. They like the idea, the theory, and then reality kicks in. Oh, hey, Marilyn Manson's right in front of me, and this is going to look very horrifying.
But we've got so many members here today, and we've got to catch up on these. So I want to thank you all for keeping the lights on. Like Cosmic Squirrel here, who's been a member for 6 months at the minimum effort puppy level. And yes, that reminds me, 6, I do need to get a video up for the other members as well. Nidus Snoke says, does all TV boxes have Nielsen tracking systems? Because I was told they don't. If they don't, then why is Nielsen even a factor for shows being canceled because of bad ratings? Continued on to the next one. If they don't fully represent everyone watching, sorry, I know that isn't in your channel covers exactly, but maybe you can clarify for me. Thanks. Well, we kind of do. Culture kind of leans a little bit more into this, and I guess I could still be considered a Nielsen rater. They find families and people to rate things for them, and they go by percentages, right? Culture, basically.
Yeah, it's a demographic breakdown in certain regions, and they assess that's essentially what they consider a sample. They have to sample a certain number of households in a given way to give accurate information, feedback on how, you know, what the projected ratings for a given program would be. So your representative household, it reflects your community's demographic breakdown. And I've actually been a Nielsen household at one point in time. So
They used to have boxes. Otherwise, they have
and
like log
journals.
books
And
journals.
journals. Yep.
See, I even did the one for radio, and
Yeah.
for that one, I just had to listen. And now I think they even have things you can plug right into your television or whatever. So,
They do. Yeah.
And you actually get paid. They sent me cash in the mail, like literally.
There's also a weird thing that goes along with that. They had difficulty with the people that needed to be manually contacted with the journals and things like that during the global crisis. And that's the hitch that a lot of these media companies are trying to put, their wagon on, because they want to have their own entity and not have an outside independent service monitoring that. They want to be able to tell people that they get whatever they get, even though that may be lying to you.
Well, Culture, you know a lot more about this stuff than me, but I know that Nielsen's been under fire for a long time from the media companies who probably, as you say, wish to dispose of it. I think they even in 2019 managed to get a pause on their rating service for a while.
Actually, 2020, you're right. In 2019, beginning of 2020, they actually tried to decertify Nielsen, and Nielsen went ahead and suspended it themselves from the Media Ratings Council. Interestingly enough, there was a new article written by the Hollywood Reporter, maybe just been 2 or 3 days ago. I was actually considering a video on it, but my Nielsen videos don't really perform. But
just like Nielsen.
Well, no, they actually do a great job, to be honest with you. But they actually bring the same issues that I have with having all of these entities control their own rating services, right? Because first of all, why am I believing that you have so many eyeballs on a given program, when you're actually trying to sell me advertisement space? That to me, that's a glaring conflict of interest. I mean, Disney's involved in it. The new Nielsen One product that has been rolled out and is being rolled out is actually very complete. It very much dives into the streaming minutes, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's going to give you a very good picture. You have entities that do a good job of it now in a different way for digital distribution, like Roku, of course, and Samba. Samba TV represents about 40% of the audience in the United States as far as the connected TV audiences go. Roku is a larger entity with the number of subscribers that they have. That tracking data is almost infallible for Roku.
But basically, the shorter version is streaming stuff has more accurate numbers, but unfortunately they have no reason to let them out until advertising becomes a standard thing.
Yep. That's actually
until that point. Yeah, that's kind of
and I think we're on the way of that. Advertising is increasingly intruding into it, and with the largest, they're starting to report the minutes watched. So we've got to transition away from this Nielsen stuff into a world where we know the number.
That's what Nielsen's doing now, Mike.
I was about to say that, but
sorry, buddy. I apologize.
Just thanks for finishing my sentence for me. You know what? I'm gonna go back and. I'm gonna go back to the kitchen and warm up tortillas where I belong. Culture.
That is not what I. Bring him back.
Mike leave.
You're hurting my feelings all the time now, Mike.
Oh, stop it! I love you. I'm your number one fan.
I'm
kind of funny.
I'm your number one fan.
I'm your number one fan. No, Tom, I love Culture more than you do.
I love Culture more than you do, Mikey.
No, that's impossible.
Have you ever sang a song to Culture?
I'm using him for his beard.
No, I have not sung a song.
I think I got you all beat.
How is that? You just got to meet the other day.
I get to see Culture Speedo photos every day, and I'm not bothered.
Can I tell you something, Mike? And this is going to add to what you were saying.
What?
We just got information from Netflix again. Stranger Things 4 season 4 is kicking the complete crap out of anything they've ever done before, including Bridgerton season 2.
Yep,
I expected that.
Wow.
But supposedly Obi-Wan's a big hit, but we got no numbers.
Of course, they can't. This is the thing. This service is going to tell you, oh, we have this much. Show me. Well, no, we can't show you that. We're just going to
take
say
our
it.
word for it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird. I mean, Disney got a small bounce over the course of the last 8 days, which surprises me. They're now up to $1.10 for their stock price, but they're still down $60 billion in valuation.
Yeah. Well, Casperius, sorry, not Casperian, sent us $2 here, and he says he only has one. I'm just gonna say,
Lobot.
He does look like Lobot, doesn't he?
Lobot 1.
That's
Especially
awesome.
with the headphones on.
Low rider.
We got to pick on you. Thank you for that.
God, I'm so beautiful.
You are. Lewis Rich says, isn't the timeline wrong in Kenobi? So Moses murks the Grand Inquisitor 10 years after Order 66, but isn't he in Rebels 15 years after Order 66? Oh, and racisms. Yes, this is going to be our main topic we're about to get into here shortly, but
oh boy,
we didn't actually see him die, and as we know, Darth Maul you can get cut in half and live in this universe.
Darth Maul was dead. I don't care what any of the bullshit that came later was trying to say.
Well,
dude was like cut in half, falling down a freaking shaft to his death.
But the wounds were cauterized, Culture, so he could have the top half of his body could have survived.
Hey, okay, no.
Yeah, killing him was a bad idea in the first place, of course. But,
instead of they should love Darth Maul dead and just give us a spin-off on Lobot. It would have been historical. A Lobot spin-off, the series that everyone asked for.
He is the undersung hero of Star Wars.
He is,
right?
actually.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know.
Cloud City.
He did. Yeah, all with his headset. Dude's headset was magic.
Lobot's the action figure that your aunt who says their mom's like, oh yeah, he likes Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the one.
So the aunt goes to get the figure, the one they gave you. You're like, oh, look at Star Wars. Oh,
Yeah,
it's Lobot.
Stop saying bad things about Lobot. He's the founding member of Daft Punk.
That's how I ended up with 6 of those fucking things. By the way, did you guys have the carrying case for your action figures that was Darth Vader shaped? Did you guys have that one?
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh yeah, I did. I don't know what happened to it, but I live a life where I remember it once upon a time.
I had 2 of them. I would get frustrated because I'd have like 3 of the same character lined up in there, and I'm like, there are more characters. What is happening?
Toxic Man Through Culture says Culture is not worthy of your praise. He is a phony. It's a weave.
Nick,
Culture
is it a weave?
Wears a weave.
I pulled Culture's hair in person.
You guys need to get a room. That's you guys.
What about all the rest of the hair on his body, Nick?
Well, we pulled his hair and we were on the dump at the same time in Vegas, so it shows you how close we got in Vegas.
You took a dump at the same time.
Was it the hair on his
At
head?
the same time.
What'd you say, Six?
Was it the hair on his head you pulled?
Oh.
So I'm wondering. It's the pubic weave.
Is it bushy?
Is the weave down there too? So you're saying the carpet?
Oh my God! What if
Wizard Bush?
What if Culture is secretly growing that hair to donate it too? That's awful.
Hey now.
For the pube deprived?
And there's a class system, Mike, because only the rich, the well-off people get the donated hair from the head. The others classes get the lower hair.
This
I'll bet
escalated
Culture
very quickly.
I'll bet Culture donates it and it's used for fishing twine, so that like villages in far enough on regions can harvest the fish and have vital nutrients for their village.
They could use it as fish hooks.
He can rest at night knowing that he feeds an entire village.
Yep.
Of pubes. Oh my
With
God.
pubes.
Hello, Culture, my old friend.
We could start a bonfire with those, actually.
We need some more pube hairs again.
There we go again.
Wow, this stream is going somewhere else.
It's amazing how quickly it can veer from deadly serious to.
Thank you. All thanks to Toxic
Monty
Man
Python.
Flu. He said he said a super chat that derailed everything. The way you mentioned Zack Snyder, it derails the stream.
And Gary says that he loves us all more.
Hi, Gary.
So he wins. Hello, Gary. How you doing, buddy? Gary's supposed to be joining us tomorrow morning. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's going to be a surprise party now or what's up.
You zip
might
it.
want to get hold of
Not
people.
really much of a surprise. You already know it's your birthday.
Well,
got-
Andre had to kind of ruin it because I'm like, well, I got Gary coming on in the morning. He's like, well, I want to do the birthday separate.
Yep.
So get a hold of
Doggone
Mike
it,
and me.
Andre told you?
Well, he told me that much. He's dead inside. He's not good at keeping a secret. Member chats. We got member chats, Mikey. We got member chats. Nicholas Horton, who's been a member for 11 months. That's 1 month shy of a year. Maximum Effort Puppy says, hail Tom and guess, if you want a good Morbius story, watch the 90s animated Spider-Man show. I've heard that.
Oh, that's a good episode. It's a
Says-
three-parter. Three-parter.
can I say
Punisher's
that-
involved too.
Can I say this? Jared Leto has had 2 swings at the superhero thing, and neither of them ended well.
He'll ruin your superhero in a minute, baby. Or should we say super villain? He's played only super villains.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's but terrible.com.
Yeah, and then Nicholas Horton says most characters or story don't work in live action. I don't know about that. Depends. I think it's just the execution in a lot of
I
these
think
cases.
it comes down to writing and the story they pick. It
that
does.
too. But thank you, Gary, for the super chat. And then Dakaiju Gamer also says, remember the Phantom Menace droid carrier cooler? Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Do you remember the blow up chairs? You could get
I was so mad when I couldn't get a hold
Do
of
you remember
were
those
cheap.
giant Taco Bell cups that they have?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still have
all
my
those
Yoda.
still.
I still
Actually
have my
have all
Yoda. Oh, those are awesome.
I have all 6.
Dude, what? Oh,
That Darth
we gotta
Maul,
see each other's cups then.
the Darth Maul one was
Sorry,
cool.
mine if you show me yours.
I'll show you mine.
I-
Actually, I
it
can go get
It was
mine.
weird because I'm like the top of this cup is cooler than the fucking action figure is. I was like, this sucks. So mad.
That's because Pepsi paid a buttload of money to get on that. But not only that, are you talking about the one that looked like R2-D2? Because that one was tough to get.
That one, yeah. But I mean, the Darth Maul cup top looked better than the
I'm
action
talking about
figure.
the droid carrier cooler. Yeah.
Oh, I yeah. Well, that was cool. But I'm talking about the cups. Remember, you had like the full upper body representation of Darth Maul on top of his cup. It was freaking cool.
And then Toxic Man Flu says, "Did you pull his hair while docking?"
You're Yoda.
That's the one I got. Yep, I got that one. I got Watto. I got all of them.
Oh, the water one was cool too.
Keep your drink cold. I will.
It was. Do you realize those things cost? They lost money on the cups.
Yeah,
It's just nuts.
I still got a bunch of those.
How did
posters,
they lose
too.
money on the cups? I remember Dr. Pepper.
Well, they lost
was,
a lot of money on that whole deal.
They
'cause
were
spent too much.
They put all the characters on our cans, so you had to collect all 24 cans. I literally got all the cans. I think they're doing through cross-point through.
I used to have
Coke,
them, but
Diet
the ants
Coke.
liked them, so
Yeah. So, and then I remember Pizza Hut had a bunch of cool toys. I remember one of them was a Yoda fortune teller. I still have that.
Toxic Man Flu says, "Did you pull his hair while docking, Nick?"
Oh,
It's a merkin
God.
then, if you did. Just a heads up. And then that 70s rock fan who's also on the panel is a 14-month minimum effort puppy member.
Just
Thank you so
minimum.
much for that.
I'm sorry.
And then Z3PO is in the house, not C3PO, and says Reva is an anagram of Evar because
Yeah.
Reva is the bestest ever. This is
You know,
true.
okay, so they prime the fuel. They primed they primed the carburetor with fuel before we even got to the series, knowing full well that the performance of their lead was poor.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go full gaslight, and now we have timed stories releasing on all these outlets, including just 2 hours ago another one on Deadline. And I'm going, we know this is coordinated, assholes.
Well, we've got one from Forbes here we're going to get into, but I've got one of the worst takes of the day here, and I'm not even talking about Moses Ingram. I'm talking about Little Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Yeah. It says probably kills them that James Earl Jones is Darth Vader. They're going to lose their... They're going to love finding out that my character does what my character does. So he's obviously in this show.
Wait, what
as
is
well.
this?
O'Shea is Ice Cube's son.
Okay.
Yeah, so evidently he's in this show.
Everybody
as well.
knows
And
that
he's out there calling
on, Culture,
everybody
hold on.
racist now. On top of it,
Yeah. You know,
I
bitterly
remember when I found out James Earl Jones was Darth Vader, I thought that was the coolest thing because I remember him being the nice guy who had the backyard with the big dog, the Sandlot. I'm like, oh my god, the Sandlot guy, that is
Would
so
you
cool.
like your
Wait, it kills who?
ball
Kills
back?
us? I'm confused.
You
When he says
don't
kills
know
them, who
the
is them?
power of the
Culture, who is
baseball.
them? Is them us? I'm confused.
maybe them as whoever. Interestingly enough, because an actor or actress misplays a character, you can't criticize them anymore at all. I've been reading this shit across these trades and everything else, but that is a terrible take because guess what? Everybody knows James Earl Jones is black.
I know.
Like
I thought you were
every
going to say
fucking
Darth Vader
one.
first, but anyway.
And if we're gonna play the race card, why is it that Star Wars never acknowledges freaking James Earl Jones's birthday? They're always
No, they
ignoring
don't.
him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next thing they're going to try and tell us that Billy D. Williams ain't white.
Shit, they're already setting the stage
I
for
think
that.
the problem is, Tom, that they all believe that we're as ignorant as they are.
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
This is the main topic here. Obi-Wan star Moses Ingram stands up to racist backlash. What
There's
racist
no
backlash?
racist backlash.
I
It's a lie.
want the
It's a
fucking
lie.
proof.
It's
I
a
want the
lie.
receipts. I am sick and tired of this blanket fucking bullshit. Because you made a shitty fucking show with a shitty fucking character. That's your fault, not ours. Just because she happens to be black does not mean you can pad yourself any fucking longer. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of this. And I can't believe that Ice Cube Jr. is getting involved in this. I hope his father gives him a whooping.
I do too, because Ice Cube is still gangster and knows that he's not a fan of all the shit going on in Hollywood. So yeah,
No,
his
he's
son, he
not.
needs to put his son in check for that.
Remember when they tried to cancel him just because he wanted to have a conversation with Mr. Trump?
Yeah, I do, and I love that he didn't back down to it either. He just, he wanted to actually hear, and it wasn't like I'm only going to talk to Trump. He just wanted to hear what are you going to do, and that's all. It wasn't like, hey, like I'm this MAGA Trump supporter. I want to hear what he has to say,
All right,
and
so
that's fine.
Are we going to read this article? Or
Yes,
what-
we
what's-
are.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
should.
let's
And yes,
go.
there's basically
All right,
an Ice
shutting
Cube
up
Jr.
now.
It's his kid, but he's not even a chip off the old ice block. I'll tell you that much. This comes from Danny D. Placido. The Star Wars fan base is infamous for its toxic fringe, the loud minority of the hypercritical fans that harass actors for daring to play their parts. Their criticism overwhelmingly infused with sexist and racist commentary. Yeah, kind of like with Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Where were y'all on that one, motherfuckers? Anyway, they chased actress off the internet, mass bullied. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. And now they're flooding actor Moses Ingram with racist messages
No, they're not.
after she appeared as the primary antagonist in the newly released. No, I want the proof. Let's see here. Supposedly there's screenshots. Let's see these supposed screenshots. I've noticed that she didn't post these. This isn't her. That's bullshit.
What are you looking at?
Supposedly we're looking at racist
Receipts?
comments from people to Moses.
Can you show us? I'm right now.
I'm only all I see is the Forbes
We've
article.
still got the Forbes too.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I'm saying. What are we looking at here?
Dr. Dragon says there's an Instagram post on her page.
But it's very possible that some of those posts have been made by their people.
That's the thing.
In
You
Disney.
can't put it past them anyway.
Yeah, to
anymore.
try and stir it up for these
Because this isn't
purposes.
even her posting this. This is somebody else with 62 whole fucking followers.
I mean, nobody's going to deny there's a handful of idiots out there, but there's a handful
There
of
always
idiots
will
everywhere.
be. Yeah, granted, let's even entertain it. How many of them out of hundreds, thousands, millions are? What if it's like the last 10 actual racists on the earth? It's like, fuck them. Honestly, that's the one time I'll agree with Lucasfilm, modern day Lucasfilm, on anything. Like, fuck the actual race. Like, why do you want to give them
So
that
they
attention?
posted 2 possibly racist tweets. Actually, these aren't even tweets. These are private messages, it looks like.
But
And
see, even then, that looks hard.
in somebody's video here. Whose video is this? This looks familiar.
See, that's not racist. That's the receipt diversity hire human shield.
But I think there was something satirical in that article or that video, whatever it was. It wasn't meant to be taken literally. I haven't watched it myself, I must admit. I did see some comments about it.
See, I recognize the thumbnail. I don't know whose thumbnail it is, though.
The point of the matter is that if we as a group are so awful, why is it taking you 18 minutes in order to find something?
Now, there ain't none. There wasn't any of that.
That's
that was
my
nothing.
point. There is nothing out there.
Kind of like with the whole Rose Tico bullshit. On Instagram, Ingram posted screenshots of the summit. No, you didn't.
No,
not really.
They're gasping for straws.
Yeah,
This
there's
is a
nothing
straw
anybody
man
can do about
argument.
this. There's nothing anybody can do to stop this hate. I question my purpose in even being here in front of you saying that this is happening. I don't really know. Bitch, if you can't take a little fucking criticism, then why are you an actress?
I know.
Like, this is what really bothers me about this whole these thin-skinned motherfuckers who get into this shit. You do realize you're putting yourself out there. You're gonna get ripped on. There are people who never get a good fucking review in their entire career. You're always going to have tomatoes thrown at you. You're always going to have fans who dislike what you do. And when you get into something like Star Wars, which is a huge fucking fan base, yeah, there might be 1 or 2 or 3, and I mean literally, I'm not even being hyperbolic, racist people in the fandom, but guess what? The problem with that is most people wouldn't watch fucking Star Wars if they were that fucking racist.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would all these people who are like hardcore racists, why would they actually watch these things? Like, why would they give that time and attention? Like, especially, once again, we have had legendary black actors for decades. And we're also in a time where we've had amazing black entertainment for decades. Like, where was all this hate for a Black Dynamite or for Boys in the Hood?
It never existed. It's not in the last 30, 40 years.
It's all bullshit. It's
maybe even 50 years.
This is as fake as Jussie
Well,
Smollett. They're going out of the way to create a story of oppression.
Yeah,
They need it to exist.
Card,
they're hoping. No, they're hoping. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to weed out the last 10 racists on the planet. Like I said, the actual racists. They're trying to weed them out of the woodworks to say, "Oh, look, see, one finally responded in public. There he is. There he is." They're gonna take that one person and then say, "Look, now that's everyone that's still out there." That's they're. This is almost like they're luring
I think
people.
they're trying to create them, Nick. Never mind.
Yes,
weed them out.
they're creating them.
Yeah.
They're creating them and trying to lure them out
So
simultaneously.
I'm going to play the old man card because I've been on the planet for quite a while, and I'm an original Star Wars, Star Trek fan from the 70s. I was a teenager in the 70s. I was into sci-fi and nerdy, geeky things, and went and hang out with an awful lot of people like that. There's never been racism in these fandoms, in my experience, ever, that I've noticed or ever come across. That's not to say it doesn't exist, but in my personal experience for decades of being in these fandoms, I've never experienced it. Quite the opposite, I would say. It's been the most inclusive group of people you could get on the planet that are into these IPs and these legends of our modern times. So I don't know where they're getting this from. I think they're making it up. I think they're imagining it and they're wanting it to be there, but it doesn't exist.
You're right.
Let's not forget DMX played to a crowd of 100,000 white people at Woodstock in 1999. Well, what did a bunch of racists say? I'm gonna go give all this money to DMX, pay for his concert, and sing all the lyrics to his songs. And DMX got a bunch of white people say a bunch of crazy things I'm not gonna say on here, but I'm just saying,
I've seen the
people
footage.
love DMX.
So
it don't
do
matter
see
if you're white or
someone in the
black. They
chat-
love that man.
KJ saying there's always been racism in these fandoms. You'd never experience it because you're not the ones being targeted. I've never seen it. I've never personally witnessed it. And let's see some receipts about where
Please,
the
KJ,
racism
What
in
about
these
me?
fandoms are.
I was
My
gonna
Where
say,
is the
I-
racism?
skin-
I'd like to see the receipts.
My skin's
I-
as dark as almost
Always?
asphalt. I've never had any problems.
I was
So
gonna-
there's always been racism in OG Star Wars fandom. I
I was
disagree.
going to bring Mike into the equation here too, because I know Mike has a very strong feeling about it, and then I want to get Six's point
Sorry,
of view,
Mike,
especially
for
from
this,
the especially from the female perspective, because I feel like that's two places where that's what they're trying to say is this is a fandom that's primarily white males, and they don't like women and they don't like minorities, which to me is one of the biggest which is just fucking bullshit. And we've gotten into the female discussion plenty of times over, and we've gotten into the racial discussion plenty of times over, but I want to get Mike and Six's point of view on this, since they actually happen to be, in Mike's case, he's an Iron Man, and Six is a woman, last I checked, so.
Hey, no video of that. I'll go first. Look, Star Wars as a story, I never needed to see myself in it. I may joke around about race swapping and all this here and there, but Luke Skywalker as a storyline gave me the courage I needed to stand up to the bullies that bullied me in elementary school. It's that plain, it's that simple. And Star Wars throughout my life, I haven't always been this extroverted guy that I interact with people on YouTube through. Like, this personality wasn't my personality. I was an introvert. I was a nerd, and I was very awkward for most of my life as a young kid. And Star Wars, wherever I went, Star Wars was something that brought me together. I made friends of all kinds of backgrounds, and it was something to talk about, regardless of whether the friends that I had when I was in elementary school, I was in like a real white area. I was the only minority. I was the only Mexican there. And Star Wars built bridges. Then my mom wanted to buy a house and not rent anymore, so we bought the shittiest house in the shittiest neighborhood in East San Jose. So then I'm across town, and now I'm like with a ton of minorities: Black, Asian, Mexican, whatever, and white folks. And you know what? That's what we talked about in junior high and high school. It brought us all together. When I went to college at Stanford, where I'm meeting with people that are children of multi-millionaires, and I, felt completely out of my element because I'm around people that have like a fuckload of money. Star Wars yet again built bridges. So Star Wars has built bridges for me all of my life, regardless of who I've interacted with, and not once ever in this whole fucking process of being a Star Wars fan over multiple decades has anyone ever made me feel that I was anything less than welcome and welcome me with anything less
Well,
than
there was
open
that one
arms.
time Yeti called you Brownie.
No, that was Loki.
Oh, it was Loki? Okay.
That was Loki that did that.
Okay, my mistake.
That was just a few weeks ago.
And we all know Loki's racist, so.
We all
he's
apparently
racist
we
as
all
fuck.
are,
No, I know,
including
I'm
me.
kidding.
We all
But no-
are.
No, you're 100% right on that, Mike, and I love hearing your passion on that. And Six, I mean, you would never have been a fan of Star Wars if all this shit was true before.
Oh, for sure. And I just went scrolling through her Instagram, and I'm only seeing comments of support and don't pay attention to the haters, and racist people are horrible. I'm only seeing those comments popping up today, which means that the racist comments probably didn't occur before, and people are only commenting in support against racism against her because they heard about it, through a news story. If her Instagram had, if you could go back days or weeks and see messages of support, that would indicate that there had been messages
Right.
against her showing up.
That's a good point.
Otherwise, now they're I went back comments going back 2 weeks. So where's the messages of support if people were making racist comments about her when the show first dropped?
That's
Do you know
a
what I
very
mean?
good point. No, that's a very good point. Or when we got the last trailer and stuff like that, you're right. And they kind of preemptively sold us this idea that, and they sold it to her too, right? Like they implanted that idea in her brain that you're going to get criticism and it's all going to be racist criticism, right? Like, instead of actually preparing her to actually be in Star Wars. Like, these people don't even get it, right? Like, if I was somebody who worked in Star Wars, the first thing I would do if I brought in a new star would be like, look, this is a huge, huge franchise. You're going to get a lot from all kinds of angles. You have to try and figure out a way to dampen the noise and not let it get to you. And the last thing you should do is lash out at anybody. But that, on the other hand, all those things I just said, it's like nobody has ever told any of these people any of this shit ever, going all the way back to Pablo Hidalgo, Rian Johnson, you name it, right? These idiots who decide to go out on the internet and make a complete fucking fool of themselves and attack the fans.
In my experience and what I've seen on social media over the last, 20 years, I guess, is when I first joined Facebook. People call women fat and ugly. They don't automatically jump to the racist comments. So if people are insulting her, it should be on the show. It's not even, I can't, sorry, I'm not.
No, I get what you're saying. My response is this. Go back and listen to our first reactions to the show. Not once do we mention anything about her being a woman so much, or anything about her race, as much as we just mentioned the writing of the character, the script, and how the character is utilized.
But again,
There's even a few people who brought up, yeah, she may be a decent actor, but I haven't seen her in anything else to judge it. Right?
Well,
like, I know that point was made too.
I got an excuse from somebody the other day, and I took it for what it's worth. She's only been acting since 2018. And I accept that. Yeah, she's only been acting since 2018. What kind of performance has she delivered that they cast her for this role? What kind of dynamic actress is she? Is she a dynamic actress? I don't know. I won't watch the show, so I can't comment on any of these things. The only thing I can comment on are the social implications of it all, which is, they set this up from the very beginning. Now, if they had the racism, the bigotry of low expectations, that is on them. If they expected this to happen because because of the performance of the actress, they're as culpable as anyone of racism. If that's the card they want to play. But again, I'm not surprised. There has been a concentrated effort on Disney and all of the shell media's on their side of the equation. You could see it. We were already calling it out when they were talking about this a week and a half ago, trying to, between the Vanity Fair piece, the thing that came out in Variety, and everything preemptively saying there was going to be a racial thing with this. And then, they get what they predicted because they created a situation for it. And then any single comment, even if it's 10, there are hundreds of millions of people that are watching or have seen this show. Well, okay, maybe not. There are tens of people that have seen this show. If they get one or two, sorry, if they get one or two comments, right? If they get one or two comments, they're going to be like, well, there's the racism. Okay, that's 2 out of like a gazillion, or you would hope a gazillion. You're telling us this is the most popular show you've ever had. You're not telling us what the actual numbers are, but we don't believe you, by the way, because based on Google Trends, because that's what Parrot Analytics uses, which you guys seem to think is also an authority. Your show sucks based on that.
I was going to say not us. I was going to say we point out that they're bullshit. Never mind.
Yeah. So, but no, but I guess my point is this. I mean, we saw the setup. We are seeing the execution. And again, I pointed out earlier, Deadline released an article 2 hours ago.
Yeah, 70's got to leave us because he's got to eat his dinner. So I just want to give him dinner. And then I know you got to leave us 2 cultures. So
I do.
Dinner. What are you eating?
So thank you. Check out 70's Rock Fan.
Yeah, what are we having?
I don't know.
You better tell me. You better tell me Ungilded.
Something with meat in it in the oven. So.
Ooh, with meat in it.
Are you sure it's meat and not bugs? 70s?
Well, it could be because we're poor old Canadians, so you know we'll be eating grass soon. I think if our glorious
I got a
Prime Minister
plant
allows
that
us
eats
to.
bugs today. I named it Audrey 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And I just want to say that 7 p.m. Pacific, which is about an hour and 45 minutes, is Toxic Tuesday on 32 Flavors of Nick Visor's channel. Rocky 3 tonight, so be there or suffer
you, sir.
pain.
Thank you, sir. I'll see I pity the fool who doesn't show up to Toxic Tuesday.
I got no use for you anymore. So I'll see you all on that, hopefully. And thanks, chat, and good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Take care.
Goodbye,
So here's my new
sir.
pet. This is Audrey 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. I think there's like 9 of them in there.
Tom, you
What is
own the
that?
weirdest stuff.
You own
It's
a
Venus
Chevy
flytrap.
too. Do you drive stick?
Feed me, Seymour.
I don't know.
That's
how to
not
drive
real,
a
is
stick.
it?
It's not a stick. Yeah, it's a real Venus flytrap.
Oh, Jesus.
That's right, boy. You can do it.
Did you buy that at the gas station with your
Yeah, I
groceries?
got it at Walmart.
He got that at the Rarsism store.
Narcissism store.
Do they have green socks there, Tom?
So how much longer you got, Culture? Because you were making your point. there.
Seconds. I should be on the phone already. But look, tomorrow's Tom's birthday, everybody. So good.
What?
Yeah. So love him long time.
Details to follow later in the stream.
Say what now?
And check your Twitters.
My Twitters. Oh, and do check out my new channel, Cultured Builds. The premiere video releases at noon Pacific time.
Wait, I
Mañana.
thought it was culture do it yourself.
It is. It's a do it.
And I thought you were gonna have me on a video, and I was gonna it was gonna be like, isn't it gonna be like an OnlyFans? I can do myself.
I'm actually going to videotape you making tortillas so that people know how to do that.
I don't know how to make tortillas, but I know.
Oh shit!
I know people that can go to the store and buy them for me.
I thought you were. You keep telling me you're a tortilla farmer. I was believing you.
Well, I'm not exactly as Mexican as I sometimes.
You're
play.
management. Oh yeah, your birth certificate says you're white. I forgot.
Yep. Hashtag upgrade. So now I'm like full rarist according to Lucasfilm.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm Heinz 57, so they call me something.
I hate this company now.
Yeah, well,
Thanks
a
for
lot
being
of
here
people-
tonight. I know you got to go, but
I gotta go, but I love you, and I love and I love Nick, and I love Tom, and I really love Six. She's awesome, and I love
you,
everybody
Culture.
out there. You guys are incredible humans. Please support all these amazing people, including Nick at his show tonight, because it is Toxic Tuesday.
Thank you,
I'll see you guys later.
Culture.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, buddy.
And then there were 4.
And then there were 4.
Well, I think it's kind of fucked up how that tweet that Star Wars put out. Welcome, Moses Ingram. Oh, by the way, don't be a bunch of dicks to her. You know, they really sucked the joy out of that welcome to her by making that dig at us. If I was her, I would be pissed.
But you know why they did this when they did it?
Because they hate us.
Besides that, you know why they pulled the trigger on something like this? My analysis or my conjecture, my concept, my hypothesis, if you will, is that it's because these assholes just got their fucking ego stroked at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. And so they're feeling real like hoopsie doopsie because they just had a little mental masturbation happen at the Anaheim Convention Center. And now they think they're on top of the fucking world. It's a fucking chill fest over there.
Well, they live in a circle jerk of their echo chamber of their
and they just
ideology.
pissed themselves.
They
The
literally
bukkake
don't
of
know.
bullshit.
It was just really ironic because a lot of these people who live in like the elite areas or the rich areas or the celeb areas, they always say that people in like other areas like need to get out more, but it's really them. They need to take their own advice on what they preach because it's them who need to get out and realize that their way is not how everyone acts and thinks. But you know, that a lot of them just don't. Honestly, they don't have the balls to do that. They really don't, and they never will. And as I said earlier, I truly believe this is bait. It's meant so they could try to get someone to steer out of the woodwork. Because think about it, it's kind of like when there's like a comic book writer celebrity who will like write something like something dumb or like a hot take, if you will. and you'll see like 100 comments of people like saying, "Hey, why do you think that?" Or "Hey, what about this?" Or so, they'll say something constructive. But then there's always that one who always says something dumb that actually is dumb, and then they'll quote tweet it and they'll say, "Hey, look, see, I told you this fandom is toxic." They take the one person who said something stupid and they try to bunch everyone together that this one person defines all of you, and they ignore everyone else that actually requires them to defend their argument. They don't want to defend their argument that there's someone who actually is being an asshole. They do it. This is baiting.
Oh yeah. Well, and I hope she don't get mad for me bringing this up, but Six got very upset about this last night because she's the most passionate Star Wars fan I know besides Mike.
So Six, let me tell you something that happened to me. Bambino woke me up. I'm going to tell the story live on the air. Tom doesn't know this, but since he mentioned that with you, Six, I've been a tequila bottle half full kind of guy about Star Wars multiple times. I got up. Bambino woke me up at 2:30 in the morning, and I got some notifications. I clicked on it, and I saw this thing. I was so upset, Six. I didn't go to bed till about 4:15 this morning, maybe even 4:30. I was that pissed off for 2.5 hours. I was livid. I felt like someone just reached inside of me and just grabbed and strangled me, and it obsessed me because how could something that's been a part of my life for so many decades, that's brought me together with so many people, be now something that the people in charge of it now can make me feel so awful? And it's not just about me. It's about my friends and all the people I've met on YouTube. I mean, maybe I can slide by sometimes because of the color of my skin and I'm a minority or whatnot. But damn it, I'm sick and tired of all my friends being called this. It fucking sucks. It totally sucks. Because if it sucks for me, I know it sucks for my friends. And if it rips the joy out of my soul, I can only imagine what it is if I were like White and had to hear this shit over and over again. This is not what George had in mind. This is not what Star Wars was. This isn't what brings out the joy that you and I have, Six, when other people don't want to talk about Star Wars. And we try to be optimistic. We try to be optimistic. We've given this company every single shot, every chance we can. So I was upset too last night, Six.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was livid, and I messaged Tom, excuse me, and I was shaking. I was so mad because I feel like the blinders are off me now, and that I'm now seeing Star Wars in a way similar to the way I'll just use Tom as an example, to the way that Tom sees it. I think Tom has been seeing the reality of Star Wars, and he's been, since I've known him, he's been trying to show me this is what's going on. And I really got a slap in the face last night, and I am no longer perpetually optimistic about Star Wars. I didn't used to have to struggle to be excited about Star Wars. It came so easily. I thought, oh, maybe the next show will be good. Maybe they won't fuck us over this time. Maybe, it's going to be okay. This is going to fix it. But I don't have that anymore. And so now I have like this hole where my eternal optimism for the future of Star Wars used to be. And now I'm kind of a little despondent, to be honest.
Damn. I felt that from both of you.
Well, thank you for sharing your feelings. I wasn't sure if you really wanted to. I didn't want to, upset you or anything like that.
Yeah,
but,
no.
Yeah, no, it was kind of a personal moment for you in that respect, so I didn't want to put you on the spot either. But no, it's a tough thing. It's kind of where I've explained this whole divorce thing with Star Wars, and you almost have to at a point, because if you don't, you get so emotionally wrapped up in this. And yeah, I can still muster up some of that passion, but like just thinking about it, like it makes me almost want to like fucking just break down at how like, because you seen like the rawness of it with He-Man, right? With me, like that was like, that's seeing an open wound, because that was a 1-2 fucking punch with He-Man, because you had Kevin Smith, who was somebody I've looked up to since I can remember back in the 90s. Since the first time I saw Clerks in like 93. And you have He-Man, which is just arguably one of the biggest parts of my childhood. And we finally were promised this show that we've always wanted, and it didn't deliver on so many different levels. And then I had the guy who I looked up to come out there and basically call me all these fucking names, just like we're seeing here with Star Wars, right? because I didn't appreciate what he did for us. And we're istophobes because of this, that, and the same exact diatribe bullshit we get from the same dogmatic bullshit, the same shit, however you want to put it. It's always the same. It's always the same. And I've gotten to a point where enough's enough. I can't fucking take it no more. I'm with Mike on that. Like, I'm sick and tired of constantly feeling like I have this fucking target on my back. I don't even really pay attention to or enjoy this shit. I have not bought anything Star Wars, technically paid to watch anything Star Wars since Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a good 2-3 years since I bought any Baby Yoda stuff, at least a year or two almost. So, like, even then, a lot of that I gave away.
Mm-hmm. I was a fan of The Mandalorian season 1. I was. I'll admit it. I'm not gonna really, dial back on that. Season 2, I thought there were some good highs, but I felt like the flow of it was very uneven at times, and I did like how it ended. But then the Gina thing happened, and that was the final nail to the coffin. Not like the only nail, but it was the culmination of the events after the Luke comeback, because we thought, oh my God, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because we thought, man, maybe they're going to finally work with the fans. But then all of a sudden, immediately after the Luke comeback happened, you had writers who were working on the book saying how much they hated the fans, and they were right away going back to square one. And then of course there's the whole Pablo Hidalgo situation. And it was just adding up really quickly. It was like they brought me back up only to bring me down even harder. And then the Gina thing, just like that sealed the deal. I was like, wow, fuck all these assholes. Like, I couldn't watch the trilogy, the original trilogy, for a whole year. I couldn't get myself to watch 20 minutes of it. And that sucks, because I love watching those movies with my children. Luckily, they are actually into those movies. Like, that's a great thing to accomplish as a dad. You don't know how that's going to go. I'm not one of those, like, my kid, they have to like it because I like it. I wouldn't hold them to that if they hated it, but luckily they were all in on it. But I couldn't do it for a year. So now I finally watched A New Hope recently, but oh my God, it's just I feel nothing. I don't go on panels to partake in the shows. I don't do reviews. I don't give money to it. And I just don't care to, like, especially with how open this company is about hating people like us. Like, every company does it, but I feel like this one is trying to punch harder than most, because they do it so frequently. Like, it's like a high that they get off of, and right when they think, oh, it's gonna calm down, they hit even harder the next time. It's like the abusive relationship. You hope that they'll change, and then every time you try to go back to them, they hurt you even worse. And sometimes that obviously it's physical, emotional, but for most of us that's emotional, but sometimes it's worse because it lingers with us. And then there's Paulie.
Hi, Paulie.
How you doing, Paulie?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, are
Yes.
you on your phone or your new computer?
Unfortunately, I don't have. It did not arrive today. Now it's saying Thursday, so I'm still on my iPad.
Well, probably because of Memorial Day.
Well, whatever it is, it's $1,300.
Yeah, everything kind of is
so
behind a
I'm
day because of
waiting
that.
for it.
So
Well,
that's too bad. But you were messaging me a few things. I didn't know if you wanted to chime in real quick or.
well, first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Star Wars Anonymous. My name is Polly, and I'm
Yeah, right.
a very very heartfelt and real sentiments going on here. It's hello to everyone in the chat. I did do a video on this, just because there's this, stuff that are completely false. As from saying that there's no that there hasn't been people of color standing next to droids and aliens. There's literally been people of color standing next to droids and aliens in Star Wars since 1980. So, I that was part of it. It's like it's like nothing ever existed before 10 years ago, with Disney Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and it was disheartening because I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt in that Moses did get. Let's say she did get what she said, right? Why are you engaging with these people? Set your shit on private before you start. The show goes public. You're an actor. Let your work speak for itself. That's all you need to do. But we don't live in that age. We don't live in that age. Can you imagine Pacino behaving like this? Brando behaving like this? Well, okay, maybe Brando, but
yeah, that was a bad example.
I know, but I just had to throw him in there. But for real is besides pointing out all the great actors that have been in Star Wars in the Star Wars universe since the first iteration, to the complete hypocrisy of Disney Star Wars the last 10 years in their hope and inclusion practices. Hope and inclusion? Tell that to John Boyega. Hope and inclusion?
Oh,
Tell
how
that,
they stiffed him with the poster and his role?
Hold on,
Oh, that pissed me off. Go
roll.
on. Sorry. I just, oh.
Hope and inclusion. Tell that to Kelly Marie Tran and the way you wrote her role.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And to me, that whoever handled this Twitter thing were the same people that did the Gina Carano press release last year, or whenever it was. It's the same goofballs.
You're not wrong there. I think you're 100% right. I think Pablo Hidalgo and his little minions are part of that group. Indeed.
Someone said those characters are tokens. They shouldn't be tokens.
They shouldn't be, though.
No, fuck that. Fuck that. I hate that word. What they were is they were place cards. They were poorly written because they didn't want to take the energy or time to actually maybe, write real.
I blame Ryan Johnson for a lot of that because let's be real,
three-dimensional characters.
I hate sticking up for JJ in this instance, but he's not the one who really took John Boyega and drug him down too far. Like, yeah, he made him work in sanitation or whatever, but he gave him an interesting plot. He made him a stormtrooper that, left the Empire, whatever, New Order, whatever.
I'm going to disagree with you. Fuck them all, right?
Well, JJ's the one who set that story up to begin with. It was Ryan who didn't follow through with it.
But I'm just saying, before Ryan came on, they had us, and I said this in this video, the first bait and switch was leading us all to believe, Six, that Finn was going to be a stormtrooper turned Jedi. I was so excited. I was so excited in the trailers and what I read. And yeah, there's a couple of goofballs talking shit about his color. There's always going to be idiots wherever you go. It doesn't there's no group or society that doesn't have it. That's just, you just ignore them. You move on. But what did we get? We didn't get that. We got a really, really stupid character in episode 1 in the Phantom or the Force Awakens, whatever. So that's every time it seems to me, and I'm in disagreement with the panel and a lot of our friends in this community. I'm a fan of Kenobi and a fan of this lady's work in the show, but that's okay. That's my opinion. I'm not going to get into arguments and discuss it, and go down a lower base. But never do I think about race. It's like, it's just storytelling. What's going on?
Right.
But that being said, it's almost like, for me, okay, it's a step forward, but then 3 steps back. And then all this, I sent you that thing about Ice Cube. Then there's this Bradley Cooper casting his next film where he cast an English actress to play Latina. I mean, fuck Hollywood today. Thank you.
Well, I still stand by my argument, though, because JJ was the one who created the character. he put it in our minds that there's this possibility, and he did try to follow through with it in Rise of Skywalker. He was the one that was trying to put him with Rey. It was everything after that that kind of fell apart. And again, I'm not saying that JJ isn't part of the architecture of the problem. Don't get me wrong there. I'm just saying that what JJ promised him was not followed through with by Rian Johnson. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, they got a downgrade.
That's what I'm saying. Is like the setup was there. We have a character who left the New Order. We have an idea that he may or may not be force sensitive. The fact that he, was attracted to Rey does kind of support some of that and some of the other stuff that's in the film. And I don't mean sexually. I just mean the fact that they found each other, and it just, to me, there was more to be built on there, and it was just completely destroyed from that moment on, because outside of Han Solo getting killed the way he did, there's still a foundation to build upon in The Force Awakens. It's not a complete trash fire. It's a bad movie, yes. Has it aged badly? Yes. I tried watching it a while back, and I noticed a lot of things with it where I'm just like comparing it to the original film, and that's where I made my point originally. Like, if you're able to watch the opening shot of when Darth Vader enters in the first Star Wars film without any music, it's still pretty ominous, right? It works better with the music, don't get me wrong. But even without the music, it's an upward angle. It's full of smoke. Darth Vader just kind of emerges from the smoke, and he has the, the breathing and all that kind of stuff. So even without the music, it's still an intimidating scene. You watch The Force Awakens when Kylo Ren is introduced, you take the music out of that, it is the most flat, brightly lit, boring scene ever. There's just nothing really happening. He's walking down a ramp. He's holding onto a laser bolt. And it's all shot flat. He's not shot at an interesting angle. There's no atmosphere to it at all. It's like it's shot on a soundstage. I wish Valiant was in here. I know he's in the chat. I sent him the link. But he would know what I'm talking about here, because there is no cinematography to it at all. And that's where I get into The Force Awakens. And JJ, he really dropped the ball even visually, because JJ is somebody who can give you something stimulating visually, right? Force Awakens wasn't even that.
But Tom, let's just move up to today.
But I
why
was just
do we
giving you the
need to be
credit on
told?
that, but yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying, why do we need to be told not to be racist?
That's bullshit.
What idiot needs to be told that on Twitter? Well, but this is the age we're in, and that's depressing, man. That's depressing, and I don't look to an official Twitter account of Star Wars to teach me my core principles and how to be good to people. I mean, it's like voting, right? I vote, and if I don't like the outcome, I can still complain because I voted. It's like I haven't bought a merchandise of Star Wars post Disney. It's all been pre-Disney stuff. I think my point is that even though I still I'm on the brink of canceling my Disney Plus, I feel like, well, at least I get to see the content and I get to complain. It's like my voice as a consumer, but as a fan, as a consumer, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's not just that they told us not to be racist, but they said if you make her feel in any way unwelcome, so no criticism whatsoever is going to be allowed of this woman.
Yeah, that is just utter bullshit. That is their way of saying she is bulletproof from criticism. She needs to be that way. And yeah, let's not forget, Carl Weathers was just in The Mandalorian too, and not one human being on the planet complained about Carl Weathers. I mean, he's fucking Apollo Creed, damn it. Like, no one's gonna complain about him being on the show. He was also in Predator 2. Like, yeah, and that was only a few years ago. a few years ago.
Yeah.
And they're acting like, oh my God.
It's all over. I said that in my video. It's all over the place.
And
as
that's
far as
done by
people of
intention.
No. Meaning people of different backgrounds, actors of different backgrounds in Star Wars. We're already there. It's done. It's done. Like Moff Gideon, Fennec Shan, Boba Fett. All these people are people of color, which is such a weird term.
It's just colored person flipped around.
Well, you know what I mean, guys, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm not. My point is that it's really has been all over there. I don't know what she meant by there's no people of color in Star Wars. I'm like, are you colorblind? Now, if you're talking about a female African American black woman, that's different. But you know, we're not the ones that killed off Thandie Newton's character in Solo. It was Disney. That's the choice they made. That was and Thandie went on record saying, when you put the first black woman lead in Star Wars, you don't kill her off. I mean, the fans didn't do that. We didn't edit that. You know what I mean? It's just the fucking hypocrisy of this company and the balls. Yeah, I might just let it all go. Sander. I'm feeling it. Hey, Valiant.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was grocery store earlier when y'all started, came home, and I've been cooking dinner, so I just kind of wrapped that up.
Forever at the goddamn grocery store.
Welcome to the final wake.
Yeah, final wake.
God. Yeah, and you know, just a real quick observation on your last point, where you kind of called me in here. You know, if JJ had used some more flashlights to create some lens flare when Kylo Ren entered, that would have made it.
Yeah, I think that would have fixed it. You're right.
And then also today in bullshit news, we have Disney touting their record weekend for Obi-Wan. Yeah, I just did a video ripping that shit to shreds. Fucking liars.
I saw that report. And hello, Gary. Welcome to the program.
Yo, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Hello.
For those who haven't met Gary Ambrosia yet, this is Gary Ambrosia. He works in the industry and good friend of ours at the channel and hangs out on a few shows here and there. But welcome to the show. As you see, he has a lot of neat toys behind him.
Gary sends me his toys. I like playing with Gary's toys.
Yes, and I want to thank you personally for my birthday present. Thank you.
What'd you get?
You're welcome.
He sent me...
Oh my God, that's tomorrow.
Yes, it's tomorrow.
He sent me little droplets. Is it the paint or the latex from Slimer?
It's the paint from Slimer.
Okay, so that's in a little. He's got like in a little glass thing. It's got little paints from Slimer, and then a little vial of his slime. It looks like, which is neat. Then he sent me the cards that Venkman uses. You know, with like the couple of wavy lines and the circle and all that stuff on it. And those are really cool. Now, I forgot to ask, are those marked to where we know what they are? Like he has.
I think so. I can't remember, but those are the vintage cards. So they're not like a new thing. They're they're legit. Yeah.
Awesome. And then he sent me a piece of the Bates mansion.
Ooh. What's up, Gary?
What's happening? Was that Paulie?
Paulie.
Yep.
It looked like Cheech Marin there. I couldn't tell.
Hey. Hey, man. I don't appreciate that, but that's funny, hey.
How you doing?
I mean, I'm fine, but like it's right. You know, this news is it's very depressing.
It's bullshit. This stuff bullshit. About Reva, they put it out before the show even came out. What does that tell you? That tells you everything.
Yep.
Right there.
They were preempting it. They knew that they were going to have issues this weekend. And they used this to preempt this, to give themselves a built-in story. They put it in a UK publication, which then came over to Variety. And sure enough, I mean, no surprise, 3 days later after that article appeared in Variety here in the States, oh, well, we're going to make some tweets now at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, like they're drunk tweeting on the Star Wars official page, and telling us all this. And then the very next day, And this was hilarious today. Oh my God, this was so funny because they just died in real time when they tweeted from the official Obi-Wan Twitter page about how this was the biggest Disney Plus opening premiere, more watch hours globally of all time. And I'm like, y'all sons of bitches, I called this 2 months ago. I called it. I knew this is what they were going to do, and they did it. And Netflix didn't even give them 1 hour of sunshine, and they took out, I mean, they whipped it out, and they just junk slapped Disney in the face with the Stranger Things numbers and basically defying Disney to put out their data. I mean, that's what they did. Netflix came out and said 286 million watch hours globally this weekend for Stranger Things 4 from Friday to Sunday. After Disney said biggest release ever for Disney Plus, but gave absolutely no data on it. Don't forget that Obi-Wan Kenobi's premiere that they're touting as the biggest thing of all time for Disney Plus as a Disney original series premiere has literally twice as much watch time as anything they've put out before. That's why they put out 2 episodes at the same time. And I told everybody this 2 months ago. They are the biggest bunch of damn con artists on planet Earth.
This is a great, Jane Theory put out a great tweet.
What'd she say?
She said, Reva could have been clever, deliberate, a villain feared and respected. Instead, Disney leaned on the trope of her being angry and given to childish outbursts, no depth beyond reckless despite being Jedi and Sith trained. And she's constantly demeaned, but we're racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I hear you say, Paulie, that the first comment was she should have been clever? I don't know if that was supposed to be just like a joke, but if we're being serious, she just should have not.
Could have been.
Could have been. Was that serious or was that a joke?
No. I believe Jane's being serious. Like the character could have been clever, deliberate, a villain feared and respected.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
All right.
Well, and I didn't totally hate Obi, but it has a couple of huge glaring problems that could have been fixed. One of which is that Obi-Wan has no reason to get involved in this, and Leia's dad has no reason to jump to Obi-Wan right away. I mean, it makes no fucking sense. Unless you would have had her set it up to where they said, we don't want any ransom, but if anybody but Obi-Wan Kenobi comes after this kid, she dies. That's all they had to do to fix that problem. Because then you have him saying, even though I have, all the power behind me to do something about this, I can't. They want you. I know it's a trap, but I need your help, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Gary got it.
I get it.
So my real question
and then the other problem is her meeting him already causes issues, and even though he's under the name Ben, it's still. Anyway, you were saying, Paulie, sorry.
Can I ask a practical question? Who's gonna watch Obi-Wan tonight at midnight? Yeah.
I will watch. I don't know about tonight at midnight, but I will watch at least a couple more because it's not even that long anyway. Might as well, pull the rest of the Band-Aid off at this point.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. I'll watch it.
I have not watched the first episode.
I got to get through some of these member chats and super chats. You guys have been so super patient. Thank you so much. There's almost 600 of you watching, 566 right now. Please hit that like button. Please hit that share button. Let everybody know we're live, at least for a little bit longer here before we head on over to Nick Weiser's channel, where I'll be talking some Rocky 3 over there with him, and the boys probably will hop in there for a little bit.
Wait, I'm sorry. Y'all talking about watching Obi-Wan midnight tonight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, did they change the schedule again?
No, I think
they only did the.
They did the first 2 episodes. The 3rd episode was not supposed to come out till next Wednesday on June 8th.
It's tonight.
Oh, then they moved it again.
I'm pretty sure it's tonight. No. Yeah, they moved shit all over the fucking place with that.
I don't remember it ever being June 8th.
When they moved the 2nd episode up to be in tandem with the first, so they could jack these Nielsen numbers and come up with this phony baloney story they did this weekend with the Disney Plus biggest record, blah, 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 with no context, of course. Originally, when they did that, everything that was listed at least in public data, still had episode 3 with a 10-day lag coming out on June 8th, Wednesday, June 8th, so next Wednesday. So if they're dropping the 3rd episode tonight, I didn't realize. I hadn't seen any reports that they had officially moved the entire schedule up an entire week. But I mean, y'all might be right. I'm legitimately asking because I had not seen that.
I mean, I'm reading here from one publication from a day ago that episode 3 is coming sooner than you expect.
Okay. Then just change it then.
Yeah, I don't ever remember it being a 10-day.
Wednesday,
10-day wait,
June
but
1st, midnight.
It was originally, yeah. Okay, so they did move them all then. Okay, cool.
And
I had no idea it was coming out tonight.
Yeah.
But I got tomorrow off, so I'm going to check it out.
After they did the move, everything out there still slated episode 3 on June 8th. So that's interesting.
But, all right, so I got to get to some of these super chats and member chats. Thank you so much for being patient, guys. We got Blue Eyed Roof Korean the Base, who's been a member for 10 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you so much for that. We have Kitty Bear, who's been here for a year. Happy anniversary at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you so much for that. Then we got 70s Rock Fan, who's also been a member for 14 months, even though he checked out to go get some lunch or supper or whatever. But thanks for being here, buddy. Then we got a member chat from Toxic Man Flu, who's been a member for 4 months at the maximum effort puppy level. Says, I'll spend my monthly member chat wishing Tom a very happy birthday, and I hope Culture pops out of his cake and sings to him like Marilyn Monroe. And I've been seeing the birthday wishes. Thank you so much, guys, in the chat for that as well. And thank you, Toxic Man Flu. And Paulie, who's been a member for 14 months and is on the panel, says, I'm a member of this channel. Jesus, I need to rethink my priorities. Hi, Six.
Hi, Polly.
I mean, in hindsight, that's a really dated
you should really think about it. Member chat from your Muslim uncle, who's been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much. We got a new member in James Esperanza. I forgot to pay attention to which level.
Minimum effort.
Minimum. All right. So it's Mikey's favorite video. I think most people's favorite video. Minimum effort puppy for James. As soon as I can find the button. Who's got the button? Why does it always have the hardest time finding the minimum effort puppy? There he is. I'm gonna move him to the top. There we go. It's even funnier. There's his little buddy behind him who's like just waiting to get on that thing. Yeah. He's just like, I can't wait to get on there. Mega J says, Lucasfilm wants to call out the racist, yet who were the ones who removed John Boyega after the Star Wars posters in China? Yes, we brought that up as well.
It's funny because all the Disney fans don't want to acknowledge that. They want to pretend that that's not a thing or it was just a coincidence. They don't want to have that conversation about China.
Oh, and you talk about that. You talk about token moment. The gay kiss was so easy for them to edit out. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, Paulie's right. They did and they took that shit out faster than the Flash could ever could say his name. It was just like, wow, so much for that. And
they edited that out for China.
Yeah, they edited it out for China. They took it out. They were at a point in time where what China wants, China gets. But we're the ones with the problem, Six. It's you and I are the toxic ones.
We're the terrible ones. Apparently our money isn't as good as China's.
Nope. Doesn't spend as well. Doesn't have as much ESG either. Big Daddy MRI has been a Congo member for 10 months. Says, like, we, the audience, can't tell the difference between a character and an actress. Reva is a villain. We are supposed to despise the villain. Yeah, well, doesn't mean we don't know the difference, actor, villain. Exactly. And at no point do I remember anybody really necessarily going after the person, even in our reviews, was my point. Like, a lot of it was all just directed at the story and the character itself. Dakar says, reason why I can no longer pay, they despise me. Yeah, that's a good point, going off of what Six just said as well. Kareen is here and says, you guys need to stop taking the bait. It's just to promote this show. It's race baiting. If you not racist, who cares what MSN says? That the fan base is what it is. Her acting needs work. Yeah, well, again, I can't speak to the acting because I haven't seen her in anything else. But Yeah, thank you for that, Kareen. And
I didn't think that she did a bad acting job. But it's, it's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Story
it's not Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's just working with what she has, basically.
Funny you said that, because she is a Shakespearean-trained actress.
Yeah, it doesn't show. Wow. Not in the least bit.
No.
Well, talking about basic elementary acting. I didn't see any of the training at all.
I love her performance, Gary. But that's all. I don't want to argue that. Like,
right.
That's opinion, right? And I respect that. But who in their right mind is going to come after this actress or hate on this actress because she's black? That's garbage. That's garbage.
Nobody. It was a narrative they set up.
Exactly. And Night of Snoke says, you guys might need to move to another sci-fi show franchise that treats fans with respect, because we learn time after time you can't talk logic to evil. This is true, Night of Snoke.
Yep.
But these aren't people who are immovable, right? They are expendable. In fact, when it comes to Star Wars, they got rid of the one person that I would say is the most inexpendable, and George Lucas, for better or for worse, was Star Wars. And without his take, without his input, it's lacking that spark. There are people who could possibly do this, but not the people that are doing the job now. Or at least Favreau's being misled, let's say, as well, on that point. But I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, to me, I see this just like we are technically the ones who own the legacy of these franchises. And if they want to piss all over that and send us away, that's fine, but then they're just going to die on the vine, because nobody new is going to pick this shit up after it's been sullied so bad. And these articles that we've seen coming out, a lot of them are revisionist history and trying to make excuses for KK and a lot of the bullshit that happened. And they had to admit the failures. They had to admit some of the failures in that write-up too. So, somebody watching TV or what's going on?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I hear TV in the background. I've been hearing that.
I was muted. It's not me.
Yeah. But thank you for that, Night of Snoke. And then we got Gary here who says the racism narrative with Reba is crafted from the beginning before the show is even released. It is complete propaganda. Yeah, I think we kind of...
In case you needed that repeated a third time.
You knew where they were going. You knew it.
Yes, exactly. And then we've got Rob Altus, who says, because the same decrepit people are still in charge, it will not change. Same with Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, or Doctor What the Fuck, Marvel, etc. That part is true, and yes, we have to get those folks out of the way. Get them out of there. Bye-bye. See ya. And we're getting there in some areas, but we got a long ways to go. And then we have Lewis Rich again, who says, preach it, Mike, preach it. I'm 37. I have been a Star Wars fan my whole life. And I don't want anything to do with any of it. Disney destroyed Star Wars. I don't know if Mike is here to hear that praise, but thank you for that, Lewis. He had to step away for a phone call. Buddy ran into Jon Favreau at Star Wars Celebration, says Party Pucks. Took pics with him. If you guys met him like this, would you honestly tell him that Mando and Boba Fett sucked? Well, I'd be honest. I didn't think Mando sucked.
Yeah, I like Mando. It was cool.
Yeah, I love Mando.
Same. I don't.
Fett, on the other hand,
I would have said Boba was not a good show. It was really terribly made, written, looking like and the characterization was awful. Even your own actor admitted that character wasn't Boba Fett.
Well, I'd be truthful with him for sure.
Yeah,
that whole article in Vanity Fair is them making excuses. Like, I agree with Andre. Where was he going with this Godfather bullshit? And if that's the case, he did a piss poor job of doing that too. You know, it was pretty clear that why you wanted Robert Rodriguez to do this, then why didn't you just let him do that?
No, you didn't read the whole article, Tom. They wanted it to be like Godfather 3.
Shut up, Paulie.
Ching.
That would actually have been a better fucking show.
That was good.
Got you with that one. No,
More happens in that movie than you give it credit for. Snowdub says they advertise Anakin Vader in magazine articles, trailers, and live on Star Wars Celebration. They show 1/3 of the series and gave us 10 seconds. Yeah. I have a feeling this whole series is going to be a big disappointment. I hope it gets better, but
up until today, up until that, what I shared with you, I was very hopeful. But after seeing that tweet from Shea,
I can't see it. Because whoever it was blocked me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who is that?
Shea Jackson blocked you?
He must have, evidently.
What?
Blockchain. It was a blockchain.
Blockchain.
Maybe.
Well, I retweeted him earlier. He must have turned around and blocked me. He didn't like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you have an alt account for looking at stuff like that?
No,
Tom?
I don't. I don't barely know how to use my own account. No, that other thing you sent me.
Wait a minute. What I just
who was the other thing you sent me? Because he didn't block me.
Oh, I sent you Moses' video. All right, let me see if I can.
Whoever that was that posted it, they have me blocked. That's Moses?
Slimo?
Yeah.
I sent you an Instagram video that she did. Tom.
Well, the thing is that I think that video was put down, or unless it was an Instagram story. Here, let me send it to you.
It says I'm unable to view. No, whoever this is, I am blocked.
Right. Well, let me see if Six can see. Then
Who is Slimo?
You can share it. I don't know. Probably some Sleemy.
I'm blocked. Whoever it is, Slimo is. I'm
Six.
blocked.
I just DM'd you.
They don't like me. Whoever they is.
But
yeah, this is Tom. I sent you this. It's a YouTube link.
Where is it at?
In Messenger, Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Like earlier? Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it.
No, later. I sent it to you.
Well,
in the future.
yeah. Never mind.
I have not.
I thought you meant
this
like
full
now
video.
or.
Oh no, you don't have to scroll up very far.
I found it.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Okay. So these are the supposed tweets that are that are in question or whatever, right? Or whatever, the comments. But before we get to that, Commandant VHS says, George Lucas gave us treatment. Enough said. Yeah, and they didn't follow it. And I know I had a few more come in here that I have not starred yet, actually.
She probably thanked him, shook his hand, and then as he was walking out the door, she threw it into her shred box.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we already know that that's kind of, you're not far off.
Pretty much.
It was more so that he wanted it in the... You haven't read Iger's book, have you, Six?
I have.
Oh, you did? Okay, so then in that book, then I don't know if you remember, George wanted it in the contract that they use his treatments, but Bob insisted that not be in the contract because they wanted the freedom to do what they wanted. And they didn't want George hovering over them with that, in so many words. So he gave into that, but he wanted his $4.05 billion then. So yeah, I
got blocked too.
You did too.
I did too, and I didn't say a word. Yeah, it's a blockchain. It's a blockchain.
I'm not blocked because I'm a nice girl.
You got a fairly newer Twitter though, don't you? Or did you reestablish an old one?
No, this is a newer one.
That's what I thought. That might be why too. You're not on enough lists yet. But thank you for that, Commandant VHS. And then Buttcrack Media sent us an amber turd. Thank you for that. Hillis Mallory says Reva must get Moose and Squirtle. Or Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi will be on Netflix next month.
He will be on Netflix next month. Trust me, we're working on this.
You guys need to do a video like that.
I know, it's been a while since I've done a video for him. Mecha J says, with this recent controversy, do you think viewers who were willing to stick around, I think he means, to watch the Obi-Wan show will now tune out of it?
Yep, I'm not going to watch any more of it.
This is going to be the Picard of Star Wars. I said that before.
Yeah.
And the reason I mentioned that in the short version is because Discovery people didn't really tune into. Even Enterprise, for that matter, and a couple of the other Star Trek things people didn't tune into. But as soon as Picard came out, that was one of their bigger shows. But that had such a massive drop-off. I'm sure Valiant Renegade recalls that.
For which one now?
For Picard, the original season.
I don't remember if I ever
It
actually
started at
looked.
like 5 million viewers, and then it dropped down to half by the midpoint.
God, I totally believe it. I can't even believe it was 5 million. Well, I can believe it was 5 million at first
because it's Picard and it's Patrick
It's Picard,
Stewart.
right? It's Goodwill. Yeah,
and this is the equivalent, if you ask me, because you have the closest you're going to get to 2 original characters coming in here, right?
Yep.
And this was your litmus test at how bad Star Wars has been damaged. So I want to see some numbers. Yeah, they can claim all day long that this is the biggest show they've had, but as you pointed out so poignantly on Twitter earlier, Valiant, yeah, that's not hard to do when you got 50 million new subscribers since all the shows you just released before.
Well, not just that. The biggest thing is that's why they deliberately stacked 2 episodes on the opening weekend. They've never done that before with any Disney Plus original series. Nothing
Which is
Star Wars.
Nothing
from MCU. Do you count WandaVision? Because they did 2 episodes. Granted, they're both 20 minutes each.
20 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
I just don't know if you count that or not.
I don't know, because that doesn't even matter. That doesn't even equal the. Okay, look. Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1 was 52 minutes. Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1 was 39 minutes. This Obi-Wan combination is 100 minutes. 100 minutes of watch time. 90 to 100 minutes. It's like 52 and 48 or something like that. It is a lot. It's almost 100.
Skipping. Now, if you skip through all the intro shit,
well, I
skip the trailers,
I can't count that, because if you look at Netflix, when you pull the Netflix numbers up for Stranger Things, I'm using total watch time to determine their viewership as well based on the numbers they gave us. You want to go find out and go watch the video I did earlier, but I mean, it's because I don't want to get too deep into the math, but the point is that Disney stacked this up. Oh my God, get off the Chinese keep. What the hell is this?
What is he doing?
I have no idea.
Did everybody see that Valiant timed out his kid earlier?
Did he really?
Did I really?
Yeah, I saw that.
Valiant. Don't even act like you didn't know you did it.
No, I seriously had no idea I did that.
Yes, you did. I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking right at it. It says, Valiant Renegade Jr. has been timed out by Valiant Renegade. I'm going to
this. Wait. Listen to what I said. I said I had no idea I did that. I'm not saying I didn't do it. I said I had no idea that I did that.
It doesn't matter.
I'm serious. No, let me tell you what. When I put my phone down, like I'm watching YouTube videos, and I've got YouTube.
Oh, so you're trying to claim that the kid come over and did it himself to make you look like
I'm not. Look, I've picked up my phone a number of times with live chat, and it's like, do you want to block this person? Like my finger hits stuff when I put it down.
I know it's an accidental block.
Yeah,
sure.
So I'm like, no, but that's
all right.
That's pretty damn funny if I did that. I'm gonna have to do that.
I've never seen Valiant Renegade accidentally do anything, so I'm just saying it's quite a coincidence that it was his own kid.
Did you do it yourself, Junior?
Pretty damn funny. That's pretty damn funny.
We love you, Renegade Junior.
Look at this quote. So it says, "You're a diversity hire, and you won't be loved or remembered for this acting role." How's that racist?
Yeah,
because it's true.
Wait, is this a real person or a troll? Because
even if it is, what's the difference?
Wait,
the whole point is diversity hires. Diversity hires are, by their very definition, guess what? Racist.
What?
I don't know, but this is the video that Six sent me that you were trying to send me, Paulie, I think. Who released this video? That video looked familiar.
That, you mean the one you just had up on the screen?
Yeah.
Long story short.
Do I need to say it?
Yeah.
That was Mecca.
Oh. No, you didn't need to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay.
Okay, all right. That's enough.
Okay. Let me turn this up here.
Long story short, there are hundreds of those. Hundreds.
Let's see them.
Yeah.
I've seen the same 4 over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I also see those of you out there who put on a cape for me, and that really does mean the world to me because, there's nothing anybody can do about this.
Why should anybody put a cape on for you? You are a fucking pampered actress. I doubt you've ever really faced any real racism, but I'd love to hear any examples that you have, like your 4 fucking tweets. Sorry.
There's nothing anybody can do to stop this hate. And so I question what my purpose is, and even being here in front of you saying that this is happening, I don't really know.
How old are you?
But I think the thing that bothers me is that, like, sort of this feeling that I've had inside of myself, which no one has told me, but this feeling of like I just gotta shut up and take it. You know, I just kind of gotta grind and bear it. And I'm not built like that. So I really just wanted to come on, I think, and say thank you to the people who show up for me in the comments and the places that I'm not gonna put myself. And to the rest of y'all weird.
I can say
She
the same
has as
about
much
you, lady.
Shakespearean training as my asshole.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? You know what?
man.
You know what? Exactly. That's
That
exactly
deserves
what I was gonna say. And you know what? You know what?
Wherever that came from, that is bullshit. I'm sorry.
You know what? Because out here in the ghetto Jedi area, you know, you got to be that Inquisitor. You got to.
Oh, jeez.
Here's
Mikey's
the
racist.
depth. I'm gonna show in one.
No,
quick,
Mikey's another person of color. He can get away with
very
it.
quickly. I'm gonna show you her amazing acting. Here's what I saw from her. She gave me this look. I saw this look.
No,
I
she
saw
did
this
not.
look.
She was not that expressive, Mike. Dude, that one
Planks Wood more expressive.
You're much more expressive, Mike.
Jesus.
Oh, and then there was this look.
No,
I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about this actress at all. I had nothing against this actress. I didn't even blame her at
neither.
first for the problems that we were getting. It was them I was blaming for putting this nonsense in her head, and now she's seeing ghosts everywhere because of it. And Gary's verklempt. He's got the vapors.
Out of 100 tweets, those were the most offensive she got that she
Yeah.
showed?
Show me where one of them connects to hating someone for the race.
Sorry,
Show me
I
the
don't
dots where
buy
they
it.
connect.
I don't
They
buy it.
don't.
After 6 weeks
They
of
don't.
watching Amber Heard on the stand, I don't buy this either.
They don't.
She
line
could have
up.
just let it alone. Disney is the one who called us racist, and she is the one who told us that
Well-
they warned her about the fact that we were racist. And she could have just left it at that because people were in her corner saying it's not her saying it, it's Disney. But she had to
Exactly.
she had to jump right in and say, it's me too! Hashtag me too.
Exactly. No,
I think y'all are
making-
racist.
That's exactly the
There's
point I was
no-
trying to make. Six. Thank you. Go ahead, Paulie.
There's no reason why she should have made that video. And she even questioned herself. I'm wondering if she was high. 'Cause she seemed
High
a
or
little
not.
high.
Maybe the nose
knows,
ring was
but-
on a little
Nick
too
is
tight.
usually high, and he doesn't say
Jeez,
stupid
4-inch
shit like that.
fingernails, man.
I think
Probably-
her nose ring was a little too tight.
You
I don't see Nick,
well,
and
whatever the
and I'm
case
high
is,
most of
Mike.
the time too, and you don't see me and Nick going out there going like, I just don't know anymore, but like I just gotta say something because I got 4 fucking messages from people who I don't know. And
No, Tom, you're right. I've been like, especially on like, we'll just bring it to Matt's cocktail launch, Foulball Productions. I have been super hammered on that stream, and I have been able to function, not act like she does. That
you
is
actually
no.
drink. I don't drink, so that
Yeah, I trust me, and trust me, I've wiped out a few
if
wars.
she's
with the
on
drinking
weed, I
that
want
do.
some of that weed. That's all.
Oh yeah, maybe it's good weed. Maybe it's good weed. Hey, if you-
It was a very strange video, and she just shouldn't have done it.
She did up a half of her company. I
and
wouldn't
look,
be
and
And then
surprised
her
if she was
giggle
told
at
to
the
do
end.
it.
Guys,
was like,
it's a
well,
bit gaslighting too, and again,
It
it's
is,
part
yeah.
of the narrative. If you really pay attention to that video, it's very, well, I don't know. We told you. I don't know.
Well, they know her character's so uninteresting that they need to make this the thing to represent her character to be remembered by it. This
Exactly.
It's the
non-representation thing.
Ghostbusters
This was
2016
done.
playback.
Exactly,
Everything about
yeah.
this was done intentionally. This was not like some big coincidence or accident. This was done with an intent to stir up the crowd because this show has nothing to fall back on. Every time they see a character that's black, Latino, Asian, they always need to give it a social handicap because they have no creativity. They can't say, "Oh man, why can't this black man be like an awesome like a lawyer or something?" No, they need to have some social like handicap to always fall back on because they lack creativity. It's the same bullshit that we see with Thor, Doctor Strange, and Superman. Oh, they're so overpowered, so hard to write. No, you're fucking lazy. There's been years and years of all these writers who are able to take these characters and find something to connect with them without depowering them or giving them some handicap. It can be done, has been done before, and someone out there probably has already written it. We haven't even crossed paths with them yet.
Sometimes I don't mind depowering. It's not a big deal. Like
It's
look
so
at the Hulk
overplayed
for-
though now.
Well, it is now, but like look at the Hulk series, for instance, my problem isn't the fact that he's depowered. My fact is that he's a better detective than he ever was a scientist or doctor, which kind of looks bad for him. I mean, I'm just saying, but it was a joke, guys. But anyway, never mind.
I just want to say that I do not agree that this is a pre-made propaganda that this actor is a part of. I vehemently disagree with you guys.
You don't think she's a part of it, but you don't see. You can't deny that.
How do you explain them calling it racist before the show is released?
That's my opinion. I have my right to my opinion. Everyone here said that you guys.
How do you
have all the
explain
same
that?
opinion. You guys have all the same opinion. I just said I don't agree. I agree.
I get
that
you
she
don't
just should
agree,
not.
but I'm asking you a question. Why did that come out before the show came out? Why did the racist comments and the racist narrative start before anybody had even had a chance to see it?
Because they probably saw in a comment here or there some stupid ass racist comments or ignorant comments. Mm-hmm. That happens all the time, and they ran with it.
So they ran with it, then they based the narrative off something that wasn't true. Either way, it's still a narrative.
And it was done.
Either way,
and the timing of it was done intentionally, Paulie.
Listen, I'm just saying that for me to believe that this actor is part of this, no way. But I don't think she should have done this. She just should have taken the higher road, and
she didn't, which shows how lame she is as an actor and how lame Hollywood is and how much they don't give a flying fuck about us as fans, and how the people that run these actors, including the producers and the people who run these studios, don't give a flying fuck about us at all because they can't control these people that say stupid shit and make us not want to spend our money or spend our view time and watch their stupid shows.
Pretty much.
I mean,
I'm sick and tired. I'm fucking sick and tired of making excuses for these Hollywood assholes and idiots that take up our view watch time hours, take our subscription money, and expect us to bend over for their bullshit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of giving these assholes the benefit of the fucking doubt. They don't deserve it.
No, they don't, Mike. I mean, yeah, I also think that every time this stuff happens, like, if not almost every time, because I'm not going to be absolutist on it, we'll say almost every time that there's this like promotion or not promotion, but slandering of fandoms, it's always when it's like leading close to when the release comes out, they're always doing this. You can't tell me all that timing is just like coincidence. You can't tell me that. Like that.
If
this is part of how they promote now.
If
this
Kathleen
is part
Kennedy
of
and Bob Chapek and all these motherfuckers are going to talk about their number of subscribers, their number of watch hours, their number of watch minutes, if they're going to talk about all their great shows and then they turn around and call my best friends fucking racist, well then fuck you motherfuckers. I've drawn the line. I'm sick of this shit, and I am not giving any of these motherfuckers a benefit of the doubt, including and especially the actors that are paid to go along with this bullshit. We are done. Done.
Well, I'm not going to yell like Mike, but I do love my brother.
He's passionate.
And I will say this, Paulie. I respect that it's your opinion. And I will go with you as far as, like, she may not be in on the deal. Like, she may not be completely aware that this is, you know, a propaganda move. But she has definitely been duped into it. That is clear, because Gary is right. They set this up from the start. They put this idea in her head. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten that strange high video she just made. Where else would she... Do you really think that she, off of 4 messages, I think, try and claim hundreds? Really? I just...
Don't forget, folks, this is... And again, Moses Ingram, I don't know her. I have nothing... I mean, it's just personally... I mean, I'm joking about the video. Is, you know, Shakespearean acting classes, whatever. But that being said, this is the biggest stage she's had in her career, probably bar none. She is on a Disney Plus show, working for Disney on a Star Wars show next to Ewan McGregor and frickin' Hayden Christensen. She's in a show with Obi-Wan Kenobi and frickin' Darth Vader, okay? She's probably going to do whatever the hell Disney tells her to do. You know? I mean, this is... and I mean, this is her career.
It's probably part of her job. I agree with you. Maybe she is not all for doing all this, but was this definitely told to her by her employer? Absolutely.
Well, I want to give Paulie a chance to respond to all this before we get to this video here. But for those who are curious what has been sitting on the screen here, this is Ewan McGregor responding to the reception and ratings or whatever on Disney Plus. But Paulie, I'm going to give you the floor for just the last part of this conversation, because I don't want you to feel like you didn't have a chance to respond.
Respond to what? Or give my opinion.
All right, well, I didn't know if you wanted to have another crack at the whole thing and explaining why you felt the way you did, but all right. So I just don't want you claiming that I didn't give you a chance. That's
yeah, no. I mean, I just find that highly improbable.
It is highly improbable. I agree with you on that. The one thing that convinces me,
Gary, he asked me for my opinion, so I don't know, you're interrupting me.
Oh, I'm sorry,
and that's
brother.
cool. If you guys didn't interrupt me, I could bounce. That I don't, because everyone doesn't agree with me. That's fine. That's what I said. I don't have to keep giving my opinion. I'll see you guys.
No, Paulie, I want to hear what you have to say.
He'll be back.
Okay, Paulie, you didn't have to do that, Paulie. That was
that's a bullshit move.
That was kind of shitty.
That's a bullshit move, and he's my best friend.
He'll cool off. Just give him time, guys.
The only thing I was going to say was
let it go.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So what's Ewan talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about the ratings here.
This weekend, Star Wars fans made Obi-Wan Kenobi the most watched Disney Plus original series premiere of all time. And for that, I would say a big thank you. And it just goes to show what this family can do when we all pull together. However, it seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send her the most horrendous racist DMs.
Oh,
and I heard some of them this morning, and it just broke my heart. Moses is a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant woman, and she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to the series. She brings so much to the franchise, and it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this had been happening. I just want to say, as the leading actor in the series, as the executive producer on the series, that we stand with Moses. We love Moses.
So you've wasted this entire
and if you're
fucking
sending her
thing
bullying messages
to talk
you're
about
no
this.
Star Wars fan in my mind. There's no place for racism in this world, and I totally stand with Moses.
He got a phone call. He was
definitely told to do this.
God damn.
Yeah, there's nothing coordinated going on here.
Jeez, wow.
This is not. Okay. This was not. And you know
yeah, they said go out to your car, make it look real casual, like you just kind of had to. You couldn't help yourself. You just had to pop in and say something to the world.
And that's what they do. Every time they have some come out, they always try to gather as many of their people together to do this whole unifying thing.
Honestly,
we
I
stand
didn't
in
even know he was going to get
solidarity,
into
yada
this.
yada yada.
Full fucking disclosure.
I knew he was.
I didn't know. I thought he was just talking about the fucking ratings.
Oh no, you didn't see this before. Okay.
No, I didn't. The way they presented this was congratulate Ewan McGregor speaking about the Obi-Wan's successful ratings.
So this is part of the reason why I'm so incensed about, and that's why I got so incensed about the whole. This is a coordinated thing. They're just circling the wagons against us. And it is what it is. That's why.
If it's such a glowing success, then why do you even need to comment on this shit?
Yeah, let it go. Let it go. If all you could come up with was 4 stupid Instagram DMs or whatever the hell she got, and there's hundreds. Show me the hundreds. Show me the worst of what you got. Blank out the worst words in there, but at least show the receipts. I'm sorry, I don't believe any of this anymore. I believe none of it. I've been lied to. We as the public have been lied to so many times. It's sickening, and I don't believe any of it anymore. None of it. You either show the receipts or piss off. And don't give me, and I especially don't believe it because they preempted this whole thing. They set the narrative up 3 days before this show came out, knowing that they were going to get their asses kicked by Netflix in the media wars for coverage. And then out came Top Gun. They had no idea that thing was going to do what it did, and it sucked whatever oxygen was left out of the room out. And they had nothing left for Obi-Wan Kenobi this weekend. This thing was buried in Google. Buried.
Valiant, I'm glad you mentioned Top Gun Maverick, not just because it was great, but Tom Cruise literally just posted on Twitter about thanking everyone for coming on see and making historic numbers, and didn't have a side message to add about it. Just thank you, the fans. You made this great. Awesome. That's it. We don't need to have this other press speech. Like, this has nothing. If you're so sure of the ratings for your show, if you're so sure, you don't need to add all this shit. They are trying to add fake controversy to get more people's eyes on this. And it's working. It's working.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not watching it.
Disney was so confident in the numbers for Obi-Wan Kenobi that they told us how many people watched, and they told us how many watch hours. Oh wait, no, they didn't. No, they told us none of that.
That's my problem.
Sorry.
And then you truck out Ewan McGregor to bring that up, and he spends of that 1:10 message, a minute talking about Moses Ingram, the other 10 seconds talking about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Bullshit, man.
All right, I got a boogie, guys. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Valiant, for being here. Appreciate it.
Bye, VR.
Good to see you all. Love you guys. Take care, chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button.
Louis Rich comes in with another one, says, I'm Jewish and I've been called every hateful name in the book, mostly by black people, and I don't complain, nor do I think every person is like that. Look, I'm not going to even pretend that racism doesn't exist, but Louis is bringing up a point that I strongly agree with. Most of the racism I've seen in my life doesn't come from white people like they claim. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say it comes from any specific group. I'm just going to say that much. Mecca J says, with his recent controversy, do you think viewers who will stick around to watch the Obi-Wan show will tune out of it now?
Oh, I wish.
I guess I've been hearing there's a lot of backlash because of this. I don't know how big, but you don't do things like this. You don't run a campaign like this all of a sudden to jump out and try and act this way. If there's like I just said, you don't. If the show is really as successful as they say it is, then those few tweets to Moses Ingram wouldn't matter. They would give us the numbers. You know, they wouldn't even be talking about the other stuff. They'd just be talking about how much of a glowing... Because remember when Mandalorian came out? Everything that was successful, that's all they had to say about it. You know? So we got kind of an idea of where things were and everything like that. We didn't get lied to. We didn't get gaslit. You know? But anyway.
Okay.
I think people will a little bit, but we'll see. Go ahead.
Here. I honestly, I mean, Tom, I'm going to be at the part where I'm going to say, I wish you were right, but I do believe many people will stick around. Like I said, I have no skin in the game anymore, but judging for what I'm saying and paying attention to from, YouTube world, real life world, employer world, a lot of people are still tuned. Look, at least maybe I won't say a lot, but a lot of people that are tuning in, they're going to stick to the end. And some of them are people, a lot of them are normies. Let's be fair here. People who just say, oh, it's Star Wars. It's got the Obi-Wan name. I'm going to watch it till it ends, because that's just the reality of the normie situation. The normies are the bulk of the audience watching this now. As far as the actual Star Wars fans, you'll have your remaining diehards who will watch it to, be disappointed again. But that's just the nature of the beast with this situation. For me, I'm just like, I'm tapped out. I don't have to worry about, having my Star Wars heart like broken by an Obi-Wan bait and switch. I'm okay. I still never saw the Rise of Skywalker to this day. So I'm a little less broken than ours. I can only imagine how others must feel. And I've never watched Star Trek, so I can only imagine how much more heartbreak has been endured in the various fandoms of the world.
Well, and I will say this about messages. It's not like people can't be dickholes.
Oh, of course.
But if you really have as bad a messages as she's claiming, you don't lead with the 3 or 4 that she did. You show the ones that are the worst of the worst of the worst. And I'm sorry if that's the worst of what she's got. She can have my inbox any day of the fucking week. Seriously. Because if you think there's some vitriol and hate coming from one side, I'll show you some vitriol and hate coming from another. And all I got to say is something stupid like, I don't think kids know what their sex preference is until they're of that age, and I don't think it should be pushed. Bam, I'll get 20 messages that I'm a fucking istophobe like that. You watch. It happens to me almost on a daily fucking basis. You need thick skin to be in any kind of business like this. And they set her up for this. I wish she was smarter. I wish she was smart enough to see that she did not have to go out there and say any of this shit. This is just a bunch of bullshit. And she should have been like, no, I see fucking messages like this every other week. Yeah, I got a few more because it's Star Wars. No big deal. But they're reading a lot of racism into these messages. I don't see any that are directly racist outside of the one or two that were like, yeah, and that's what some stupid fucking people say. And they're clearly probably not a Star Wars fan to begin with. They're just riding the hate train. I guess we missed one from Mr. Tickle Trunk earlier. Or Dash Attack. Which one is it? Oh, Dash Attack. Okay. See, we've got... Okay, yeah, I don't have one from Dash Attack here, so let me look here. But while I'm looking for that, your Muslim uncle says, hey, Culture, I still have my Vader carrying case. Sadly, he left us before I got to this message. But yeah, I'm sure he would say that is awesome. And I don't know
I'm still I'm gonna still watch the show because everybody's gonna be talking about it, and I'm not gonna continue to shit on the show if I haven't watched it. I like to insult from a place of informed.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna take any days off of work to watch it, and I think that I'm already a little bit soulless now when it comes to it, based on this bullshit that's happened. But I feel like, okay, I've broken up now with Disney Star Wars, and I can go back to work, and I can still see him, pass him in the hallway, and everything will be fine. Eventually.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been at for the most part. But this Obi-Wan series, and I can understand why Mikey and got a little more passionate about it too, is because you're kind of fucking with the legacy, right? Like this isn't the Mandalorian. This isn't some outside. Even Boba Fett's an ancillary character. Let's be real. Like, nothing you can really do with Boba Fett's going to really have any major effect on the series unless you bring in other characters, right? So Obi-Wan, though, is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
what they've given us is Jake Kenobi.
Exactly. It's not the character, and it could have been a great series. There could have been some fun stuff here, and it's poorly executed, sadly. And it's not just Reva, it's everything across the board, unfortunately. Because I don't even mind the little girl they got playing Leia. I know she's even there's another thing. She's getting more flack than anybody, but you don't see him sticking up for her, do you? Yeah. No, that does bother me. Because I've even heard some people in our own circle giving her shit. I'm like, hey, she's a fucking kid. She's just doing what she's told. Yep. For her age, she's doing a pretty goddamn good job, if you ask me.
I think she did great. I had no problem with her.
She just don't have shit to work with.
No, Tom, you're right. I felt the same way about the actress who played America Chavez. Like, yeah, I've read the books. I know she's a reviled character in the books. I have no ill will with the actress playing the character. She's just young little girl doing her job. The character, obviously, from the books, I can't stand the character almost as much as Captain Marvel. But the actress playing her, she doesn't know this history. She doesn't know all these things. She probably had this role put on her lap by her agents and say, hey, you want to give this a shot? And she obviously said yes. Of course she did. So
well, and even the Miss Marvel actress, she lobbied to get that role.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hold that against her. That is what it is. It was Disney's choice to hire. So if she doesn't do a very good job, that's their fault, right? They had a choice to hire an actual actress or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say she's not an actress, but I don't know what she did before this, but she like literally lobbied to get this role. Like she wrote there. I don't know if she did a video or wrote this letter to them or what, but basically talking about how Kamala Khan like meant so much to her and it meant so much to see herself in comic, everything they want to hear, let's just say.
Well, I admire the passion behind that, but if you can't pass a screen test, then who gives a fuck how passionate you are about it?
So when it comes to that I'm gonna have to bite my tongue a little bit if people give her shit as an actress. But normally when it comes to kids, I won't jump on a kid's case too often, right? Like, even when Deadpool 2 came out, I hate that kid in that movie. The role, the character, all that shit. But I don't blame him. He didn't hire himself. He didn't tell him to say those lines. The actor isn't the one at fault. It's the director, the writer, so on. So that I'm well aware of that. And that's the other thing, is they think that we're not smart enough to be able to separate that. And I know that point was made before too, but Kareem brings up a very solid point. Stop talking about Star Wars and that will solve the problem. I did for a while, Kareem. And I was kind of getting to this and bringing up the Obi-Wan factor for a reason. And I think Six makes a good point about seeing things before you comment on them. But for a while, I quit watching Star Trek, and I don't really comment on it that often unless it has to be commented upon. And same thing with Star Wars. I dropped out of Book of Boba Fett, and I haven't had much to say about it unless it's been stuff like this that's come up. And I did watch Obi-Wan, so yeah, I have been talking a little bit about it. But
Tom hates talking about Star Wars.
I do. She knows that for a fact. I fucking hate talking about Star Wars anymore.
Well, now I do too.
Yeah, it just grates me. I'm like so sick of it. And now, if you talk about something fun, Star Wars, maybe a little different story. But I am sick to death of Disney Star Wars.
Like Andor.
And talking about it. And yeah, who cares?
Just kidding. It's gonna be terrible.
You know what, Six? We say that now, but watch, that'd be the best of all.
Well, you know what, Tom? You say that now, but the thing is, I actually believe that would happen. You know why?
Because it's going to be Mon Mothma the series. That's why.
No. It's because it's one of their own characters. They're going to put more love to one of their original characters rather than the original characters from before 2012. So they might actually do that. I could actually see them like actually putting love into that show. I'm not saying to justify it, but it's just I do believe that's something they're going to care about more.
It's also in a period that we're very, like, it's in between the two periods, so it's stuff that we know, right? It's stuff that's familiar to us. It's easier to make it feel like Star Wars because of that.
And I don't have 40 years worth of love towards this character, so
yeah,
it might be okay.
But like I said, though, they could make Mon Mothma a very bitchin' character in the show, and it could be like, why didn't they just make that her show?
Did you just say Mon Mothma?
I did. I always call her that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't catch that? I always do, just to fuck with people. I know it's my
funny.
Mr. Tickle Trunk has been a member for a year. Look at all these people are celebrating their year. At the same time, I'm going to have a birthday. That's awesome. And speaking of Mr. Tickle Trunk, he's here to tickle that trunk, so get your trunks out, kids. I bet she got your diversity hire a lot. It can be hateful, but that's not racist. I also bet she called him to post that. He's an activist, too. I don't know if she called him, but I bet you somebody at Disney did. Or at least Lucasfilm, anyway, let's say.
Well, it's racist and it's sexist.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They're not playing the sexist card. Notice that. Notice they're not playing the sexist card. You want to know why? Because if they played that card, guess what? We get to say, well, what about Gina?
True. They actually. So that means they're actually paying attention to what they're saying.
Oh, you know they are. They're watching
listen,
right now. I bet you 3 or 4 of them are watching. Hi, Pablo.
Hi, Pablo, you fat fucker.
It. I mean, he might be over on Geeks and Gamers by now, but still. Point being,
wait a minute. Are you saying like Pablo warmed up with us like an appetizer?
Oh, fuck yes. I've heard stories about these guys.
Like he warmed up with us just to get a little toe of the water.
They listen. They hate watch us. Where do you think they get the ideas for these campaigns and shit? They play right into this shit, and that's where Korean's not wrong and that's why I try not to talk about it as much as possible, because partially that is what they want to a point.
Yeah, plays right into their hands. Oh,
but
absolutely.
I'm not going to give them what they want, though, right? Like that's the other side of it, and they know their argument's bullshit. That's the other problem.
They don't care that it is either.
They don't care, but yeah, they're trying to catch you in any gotcha moment.
Yep.
But thank you for that, Mr. Tickle Trunk. And yes, I did miss this earlier. I'm so sorry, Dash Attack. Sometimes these slip past me. Lucasfilm is an abusive ex-girlfriend. Absolutely right, Nick. I don't doubt Moss got racist messages, but you can't blame that on everyone. Exactly. And she did show some that had some racial bent to them. I'm not going to deny that. But that was 4. You're talking 4 out of how many fucking Star Wars fans?
Out of those 4 we're looking at, that one about the diversity hire, that's not a racist thing. If anything, that's on the company.
That's on Disney, exactly.
Yeah, for doing that.
Marvel, Lucasfilm, Jesus.
Yeah, Lucasfilm. It's not, because if anything, hiring her because she's black is them being that. But I just am. I mean, which other one did you? I think I saw maybe one, because the one word was uttered. That was about it. But that one person doesn't translate to us all. But once again, they nitpick, and that's done on purpose. Wait for the few that you feel like you can take out of context or try to interpret as that, and then say, okay, look, guys, here they are. Here's these two. They comprise of the entire base, and people buy into it. They buy into it.
I fucking despise whataboutism. Like if you say something and then I go, well, what about this person? It has nothing to really do with it, but it's, just to try and shut down your argument.
Yes.
I've gotten to that point, though, where I think it's about time we pull some whataboutism. That's why I brought up Gina earlier.
I do it all the time.
And the same thing with some of this other stuff here. I think it's time we start making them own some of their bullshit, too.
You have to.
So,
you gotta
see
play
Matt
offense.
Kadish's Twitter feed today?
Okay. Oh, I can imagine.
Matt Kadish just went ape. He basically he camilled this entire issue. Like he just went bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, exactly. Because this stuff is just getting out of hand. Did I even read that one? I'm sorry, Brett.
No.
I thought not. I just fucking... I knew I did that. Brett Cohen says, through this conversation, I've not heard it's Camp KK Star Wars, so it's the apparent division gone and Disney successfully ruined Star Wars I checked out years ago. No, there's still a division in there. What I'm trying... Here's the thing, is there's a Camp KK. If you watch the 2 videos we put out today, mainly the second one, there's some hints in there that we don't have enough to really go on yet, but we have a little bit more after the Vanity Fair piece. Because that Vanity Fair piece confirmed some of what I've been kind of hearing and dreading all this time. And that is that Filoni is KK's little lapdog, like Pablo Hidalgo and the rest of those little bitches.
I love Filoni.
And I know you like Filoni, but it's pretty
okay. I don't
obvious
mind. I don't
that
mind
he's
that
one
you
of
say that about him.
He's one of KK's little lapdogs. And here's the thing, though. Filoni's in it for himself more than anything.
Yeah.
Listen to him. Watch his interviews. We all know he created certain characters. We know he wasn't happy with certain things that George says. He'll sit there and he's even worse than some of these other people because he'll talk about George like he knows him personally, which he does. But we all know that he disagreed with George a lot, but then he'll sit here and praise George and say certain things about George and act like he's the end-all be-all just because he knew George. Pablo does the same shit. And they convince others around them of their own biases and invoke George Lucas. That's what pisses me off. And he is one of these people who is using that avenue to get what he wants. That's why we got an Ahsoka series. That's why she's back. Whether you like the character or not, it's his doing. He's part of this group of people that I tried to warn everybody about when we were giving John and Dave so much praise. I'm like, Jon Favreau, I think, is being led astray here. And the moment I really started to see this and hear, because I heard some rumblings before, like Dave is not somebody to be trusted either. Because, A, he is woke as fucking woke can get. But on the other end of it, he is basically telling Favreau what he wants. There's little bits and pieces that we bitch about in the Mandalorian series and Boba Fett and stuff. That's on Filoni. Favreau has an idea of what Star Wars is, but he's not the guy who knows. He goes to Filoni, and he has said this in interviews, to check on all this shit, to check on all the lore, to check on everything. So anything that's not right, that's where the finger can be pointed. And then that interview that those two did about Book of Boba Fett told me everything I needed to know. It was Filoni who convinced Favreau the type of character that Boba Fett was supposed to be.
I'm not a big fan of Dave Filoni.
Kathleen Kennedy is a satellite mom. She has no creativeness in her fucking self whatsoever. She couldn't even pick it up vicariously by hanging out with everybody for so many years, and fucking God knows how many of them.
For one point in time, I really thought that, obviously I was wrong, but I thought Filoni and Favreau were all going to be the ones saving this thing during the
I think Favreau
season
has
1
the best
era
intentions. I do.
of Mando, like especially when you saw the photo of, you could say, the men up front and Kenny behind. And maybe that was just wishful thinking, emotional wishful thinking. But boy, Boy, was I wrong. I got played.
I don't want to hate on Favreau. I've heard enough about Favreau that I think he's just kind of a, I hate to use the term victim of circumstance, but it's kind of true.
Nick, from the guys on the set of Mando, they all said that Favreau was great. And they said that the energy was awesome. Yeah. And they said they really felt like it was going to be a big turnaround. So I have a lot of faith in Favreau. So do my buddies. So that's just.
I feel like he's being led astray.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm if there's truth to that's great. Maybe it's obviously. I think maybe it was just all the hits that we took after season 2's ending. Yeah. That made me feel like, wow, okay, I guess they were all. Because think about it, not one said, no, hey, maybe we crossed the line on some of these things. Not one of them. And maybe there's truth to that comment, or who knows, maybe he's playing some game of 4D chess, slowly trying to creep his way to the cream of the crop. I don't know. But I hope that is true. I really do. I would rather.
Well, Nick, it's not that it's truth is so much as that was just a little piece of fact. That was just a little fact. That's all. Okay. Things can change over time. He's a human being. If you're constantly battling this every day of your life, I mean, how much more do you want to do? Decide like, is it worth my health? Is it worth it? Are they going to just collapse it anyway, regardless of what I'm doing? So I don't know. The guy's, he's a human being, what he goes through is what he's going through. And, there's no real way for us to track what's actually going on. We only get little bits of information here and there. And this whole thing, this thing is a storm and we're in the middle of it, and we just kind of have to ride it out. We don't know what's going to happen.
No, you're right. It's obviously it's all we're speculating and going off what we have. Of course, no, that's true. We're all taking our part in and yeah, he is a human being and trust me, that doesn't mean I have any love lost for stuff he's done before because I love a lot of stuff he's done before.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I still love him in his small role, and I Love You Man. That was a great scene. A few great scenes he had with Paul Rudd. Obviously, he's the director of the first 2 Iron Man, was obviously have big love for first Iron Man. So yeah, I'm still going to acknowledge his body of work. He's got a great legacy, and he's also, even though he's not really said anything, stand up for fans, but he's never really also gone against them either. So there is that too. So and also he might actually be genuinely busy to where he can't just focus on something like that in his
life.
Another thing that's going to others who love to pay attention to those type of things. He probably is too busy to like.
Come up with Favreau is he is stretched pretty thin right now, and that's why the Book of Boba Fett was what it was, and that and the whole Gina Carano situation and other things, and that's all going to come up in our video when we're working, because we're going to put out an entire timeline of what happened here, guys, because now we have a better idea. We know what stuff we've heard in the past is probably more accurate now compared to what isn't, and where we're setting with shit in the situation. And again, I think a big key in this video is going to show that Filoni is one of the main people that's kind of a constant in a lot of these problems. So we'll see. And I agree with you, blah, blah. I think I know the speech you're talking about. Darius Moonchild has been a member for 14 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you so much for that. Punk Waddle has been here for 8 months. Thank you so much. Well, he's been here longer, I think, but he's been a member for 8 months, let's say. Mr. Tickletrunk says, wait. There was some code switching going on in that video. He says hateful messages, then says racism isn't cool, as if they're related. You mean in the Ewan McGregor video?
I think that's what he means, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they equate racism with hate, which most people probably would. But I guess I kind of get what you're getting at, Mr. Tickletrunk, to a point. I mean, they are definitely trying to conflate criticism with racism, that's for sure. Joe Pat says, time to call this whole thing what it is. STRA. What is STRA? I'm not good with anagrams.
6, Tom. I got nothing.
Rabid animals.
That's it. I'm sure that's it.
Is that what you mean? Is straw man? Oh, Joe Pat means straw man. Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Sorry about that. Thank you, Joe Pat. And then Hillis, who's hanging in there. How you doing, buddy? Says, I believe a lot of this centers around KK, and once she steps out the door, some of the stupid is going to go with her. Yes. especially if Favreau is in as much control as he, as we hear he is. But it just depends on how much trust he puts in Filoni. And it almost feels like Filoni is kind of getting himself positioned in certain places too. Like again, I know a lot of people love the Clone Wars and the stuff that he contributed, but yeah, so we're going to start wrapping things up here. But G-Dog says, what's everyone's take on Love and Death and Robots 3? There's some fantastic sci-fi fantasy in there. I'm not too familiar with it. I did see, I believe, the first one just come out on Blu-ray here not too long ago. 4K, I mean, sorry. I'm just kind of learning about this. I'm not a big anime fan, but this one did kind of look a little interesting to me. So you never know. This one might be one I've checked out. I don't know if anybody on the panel is familiar with.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's kind of like the new Heavy Metal, though, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what drew me in.
I got to check that out. It sounds pretty cool. I'll check it out.
Like Heavy Metal, say no more.
Exactly, right?
My goodness. The last thing I saw was even close to like Heavy Metal was when I watched Primal, which is basically Conan the Barbarian meets Heavy Metal, and Primal was absolutely barbaric. So if we got another Heavy Metal clone out there, sign me up for another.
I would say I say in the trailer for the original one or whatever, the one that's coming out in 4K, it doesn't look so much like a clone, but it is just basically kind of the same conceptual like idea where you have multiple different kind of stories and different kind of arts and stuff like that. Rabid, almost anything is better than Heavy Metal 2000. That was a bad idea. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not a great idea.
It's got Michael Ironside.
Yeah, it's got that going for it at least. I mean, it has some elements to it that are okay, but it's like it just once you don't do the the kind of like they didn't follow the formula of the first film, unfortunately. And they used it as I don't even know if that was actually I don't even think that was meant to be a Heavy Metal movie. If I remember right, it was just meant to be called Fok 2 or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
And then they adopted it as a Heavy Metal movie just because it was similar-ish to the style or whatever, and like I don't know, they just banked it on that. So.
Before we sign off, I have to tell everybody that guess what happens in 2 hours, Tom? 3 hours. Wait, hold on. Depends on the time zone. Well, it's your
3
birthday.
hours.
I technically wasn't born till like 9:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. Okay, so in 11 hours from now is Tom's 32nd birthday.
Sure.
And everybody, I'm not going to say anything, but I talked to Andre, so everybody should be watching their Twitters, especially my Twitter, and be watching for your notifications for some potential birthday streaming action. Yep.
Will there be strippers?
Ooh.
There better be.
Birthday streaming action for Tom.
I mean,
There better be.
I should wax this chest hair if I'm going to do that.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
That's what
Not just the chest, Mike. Not just the chest.
Mecha J says, all this weakness and virtue signaling will go away one day. I hope we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I've been saying the final Re is going to probably come out at Disney anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you all for the wishes. I appreciate that, and it's going to be a heck of a day tomorrow. We've got Legal Mindset coming on. I don't know if Gary's going to join us in the morning or just for the birthday thing. I have no idea who you've talked to or what's going on there, so I don't know anything
What
about
time
some
in the morning?
birthday thing.
No, I'll call you Gary and tell Gary what he's doing tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom,
Just make sure you act surprised, Tom.
Your
I'm
job
not
is to
supposed to
act
know
cute
this stuff,
tomorrow
so.
and bushy-tailed like a little rabbit chicken, bandy rabbit.
It is very difficult to plan something like this and have it be a surprise at the same time.
Yeah, I'm some freaking.
I don't know what time this is happening. I just have an idea that something.
That's why everybody needs to look at their Twitters and watch for their notifications, and for tomorrow. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for hopping in today, Gary, and I'm sure I'll see you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Tomorrow.
Thanks for
And
having me
Nick,
here.
hopefully I'll join you soon over on your channel to watch or talk about Rocky, I should say, not watch.
We kind of do. Yeah, in a way, we kind of do. No, it's gonna be exciting. I feel like this is obviously it's not reviled like number 5.
It's one of the best part 3s.
I actually like part 3. I feel like it's a part 3
It is one of
done right.
Because you kind of look at it, part 3 is usually a lot of times where a lot of franchises start going downhill. There's only a couple of part 3s where I can say, yeah, those part 3s are either better than the second one or just as good, and that's like Rocky 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Love Rocky 3. I'm excited.
Back to the
about
Future
it.
3 and Return of the King are like the only 3 or 4 I can think of. Return of the Jedi is good, but it's still not as good as the first 2.
It's the best movie ever.
I know you love it, Six, and I know
Me too. I love it too, Six.
I actually
love
like
it.
Return of the Jedi too.
I did when I was growing up. That was my favorite one. But
Now Tom hates it.
no, I don't hate it. I just give Paulie shit over it. So, and Godfather 3 was done wrong. Yes. But notice I didn't say that one, so there. But there is the one that I didn't mention that everybody knows is the greatest part 3 of all time, Jaws 3.
Fuck
anyway.
Yes. Third dimension is suck.
That's right. It is so bad it comes back around to being good.
It's so awesome. Jaws 3 is awesome.
To where Jaws the Revenge is so bad it comes back around to being good and then goes bad again by the end.
Is that the one with what's his face?
Michael Caine, yes.
Yeah.
Where he comes out of the water and he doesn't have wet clothes on. He's like, I'm not getting in that fucking water.
I haven't seen Jaws the Revenge, but I've seen the house that it bought.
And it's very lovely. I've heard that interview. That's a great interview. Shit. I think in reality he actually bought his mom the house, but it just works better when he says it that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Bill Murray answered the question about Garfield in Garfield 2. He's like, I think somebody asked him about, I can't remember exactly the question, if they asked him if he had seen it or if it was what he thought about people not liking it as much as the first one. And he's like, I don't know, I didn't see it or whatever, but I did do the voice from the boat that the first one bought. So I guess he did the voice work on his yacht for the second film. So he was playing. Which I don't know if I believe his first story about the first film. He claims he signed on because he thought Joel Coen was one of the Coen brothers. Not Joel X. Coen of Futurama fame, who directed the first Garfield film. But yeah, I think he directed the second one too. But that second Garfield is so bad. That first one is barely a watchable movie, but that second one was just so horrible. And it even had Tim Curry in it too. It's like, oh.
Wow.
That was like one of his last films he's done in a while. So, but all right, kids, we're gonna wrap this up. Six, do you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
I'll be here Thursday. But you can subscribe to me. I'm posting.
Yeah, she has a channel now. Finally,
my channel in the
no videos yet, though, do you?
There's nothing on it.
It's in the description as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Mike,
put it in the description.
Yeah, Mike.
Thank you.
Anyone that subs to me on YouTube, I sub right back to your channel. If you follow me on Twitter, I follow you back. I'm in 5 minutes. I will be on Snowdub Con Connection channel for his Taco Tuesday. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Not to take anything away from Nick Weiser, he has a great channel, but that's
we
what
have options though.
You have alternatives. No, that's fine. It's all good, guys. Go get a little bit of the dub on Toxic Tuesday and Toxic Tuesday. Get a little bit of each flavor.
Careful, Nick. Six might take this a totally different way than what you mean it. Unless you mean it that way. I don't know. So,
what?
You got a whip? He's trying to get you a sword.
Oh,
What?
submissive. I'm so innocent.
Snowdib hit 1,500. Well, congratulations, Snow. I think I saw him in the chat earlier.
Yep.
Awesome. Congratulations, buddy. I think I heard that the other day, but still, congratulations, just the same. But yeah, Gary, do you have a channel yet, or do you have anything coming out, or you just want to?
No, just check out my wife's bunny rescue, the bunnytrailrescue.com. Give that a look. Also, check out Pop Culture Breakdown on Sunday nights with Dictor Van Doomcock and Mike and I and the rest of the gang at the Xanadoom. And if you guys haven't subscribed to everybody's channel that was on tonight, check them out, man. Subscribe them. These guys have some great content. So that's what I got.
Yes. Did you bring the whip?
I'll bring one tomorrow after I wax my chest hair.
Boy,